Yes, 6.
Do you know Christine Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I wonder if she's going to present her own case today. Or, yeah. Yeah, I don't see her.
I don't see her.
Yeah,
I'm talking to her on the phone every time I get her on the phone. That's it. That's a huge project.
yeah, yeah.
It needs work.
I went down and looked at it today.
Oh, it needs work.
Oh my God. And, but one thing that's not really on there is the siding. And the siding is just all falling off. You're going to do all this work and put in new windows and
And
stuff
the
like
roof,
that.
she's doing the roof, she's doing the windows. She has a lot of work made. It looks like she has actual pictures of it.
Yeah.
Like what John has said, like, why don't you-
General windows and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, what she's doing it right. But
I didn't realize it was approaching the end of the program.
This is the call to order the City of Cape May Historic Preservation Commission meeting of June 15th. It is 6:02. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. If any member has reason to believe that this meeting is being held in violation of this act, they should state so at this time. Hearing none, if folks could join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Could we have a roll call vote, or roll call, please?
Mr. Becker,
Here.
Mr. Testa,
Here.
Mr. Carroll,
here,
Ms. Basagno, Ms. Wilson Striddick, Mr. Stevenson,
Here.
Ms. Decker, here, Mr. Hammerin, here, Mr. Kurtz.
So all of us received an email from our secretary that enclosed the minutes from our meeting on May 18th. Assuming everybody has had a chance to review those meeting minutes, I would like to entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll move to adopt the minutes of the May 18th meeting.
I'll second.
So moved by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Carroll. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin,
Yes.
Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes. Additionally, in that same email, we received from our secretary an invoice for services for our counsel, Chris Gillen Schwartz Law LLC, which all of us have reviewed. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the payment of that bill, please.
I'll make that. I'll second it.
So moved by Mr. Hammerin, seconded by Ms. Decker. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin,
Yes.
Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes. Ratifying resolutions. I'd like to start with Hampton at 645 Lafayette Street. This was Resolution 2026-19. We received a revised version of that resolution via email today. And before we go through all these resolutions and approve them, I would like to propose one small additional revision to that resolution. And that is, instead of specifying just bamboo for the second floor decking, specifically state that it be outdoor bamboo decking, either fused or strand woven bamboo. And the reason for that is because indoor bamboo will not function well, but that type of outdoor bamboo decking actually has extreme durability and stability, even more so than any wood product. So I'd just like to, if we approve that resolution, add that language, okay? Next is Shell Cottage 908 LLC, that's Resolution 2026-20. Congress Hall LLC, 251 Beach Avenue, Resolution 2026-21. Iannacone, 1045 Washington Street, Resolution 2026-22. O'Connor, 1226 Lafayette Street, Resolution 2026-23. USS Jacob Jones Memorial Foundation in the City of Cape May, that is Resolution 2026-24. And Addis Incorporated Lemaire Beachfront Resort, 1317 Beach Avenue, conceptual approval. Do I hear a
So you're
motion?
going to ask for a motion to adopt those resolutions.
That
and
is-
I'll make that motion subject to the corrections that you just made.
Thank you.
And I'll second it.
So moved by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Carroll. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerand,
Yes. but
Mr. Test,
Accuse myself from Ianacone on 1045 Washington Street.
Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes, except I also must recuse myself from Ianacone at 1045 Washington Street due to proximity. And secondly, recuse myself as part of the project team for USS Jacob Jones Memorial Foundation. Okay, applications approved and denied in review. We have a list here. I'd like to entertain a motion for ratifying those approvals from review.
Motion. That was very economical. Seconded.
Great. So moved by Mr. Stevenson, seconded by Mr. Testa. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerand,
Yes, I
Miss-
also recuse myself from IOD 1014 Washington Street proximity.
Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes. Okay, so before we open the meeting up to new applications for this evening, you may recall that, well, it's been, I guess, a year and a half ago when we convened an alignment workshop between all of us. And we spent some time, actually most of the day, articulating what is the real core purpose of our work here at HPC. And in order to set the energy and tone in the room, I'd like to ask if you could please, Mr. Stevenson, to read that purpose statement.
To serve as a catalyst for guiding and valuing Cape May's historical, cultural, and natural resources in a way that it inspires and unites our community to steward these resources for the benefit of all, so that present and future generations continue to express the unique quality of life we share in this place we love.
Thank you. Okay, opening up to our first application, Huntington House LLC, 107 Grant Street. If you could please state your name, your address, and your role in the project.
Curtis Bashaw, 10 Jackson Street. I'm one of the principals.
Oh, I'm sorry, if you could. Thank you.
Robert Shapansky, project manager for Huntington House LLC.
Okay, great.
I have a fresh packet, I'll call Exhibit 1, that has large colored renderings and a few minor tweaks.
Please distribute them. And then the floor is yours. Mr. Shapansky, if I could have an extra one for our secretary? Oh, great, thank you. Thank you.
Is this exhibit augmenting our packet or replacing it completely?
Everything except the application.
Okay.
Oh, that's not as clear.
Great. Well, before I turn it over to Bob, I just want to give a little context and history. This is a wonderful old late 19th century building built at the time of the summer station, the second train station that came into Cape May at that part. It was nicer than a boarding house. When I was a young man working in Cape May, it was used for staff, and it was quite a fun place called the Huntington House. There used to be a buffet in the dining room. Many of us remember it. Then it went through a really amazing transformation in '96. Somebody renovated it into the Hotel Alcott. That was its original name. And we acquired it during the COVID pandemic and have used it for many years. We haven't used the restaurant, but we have used the guest rooms for staff housing. In the ensuing time, we've acquired other staff housing that we think is adequate, and we want to reopen the hotel as it was originally intended. In looking at the project, we made the hotel has 140-seat restaurant license and 31 guest rooms. We looked at it and felt that there were opportunities to maybe descale the food and beverage dramatically. There's a lot of great restaurants in Cape May, and it does not have a liquor license. And increase the guest room size, thereby enabling us to open up the courtyard and add some other amenities. So the plans that we're presenting are just really keeping the existing building pretty much intact. It's a U-shaped structure and currently has just 2 metal fire escapes coming out the end of the 2 wings, and we want to address that life safety issue by adding 2 proper egress stairs, an elevator for accessibility, and end up with 39 rooms. Obviously, we have to go talk to the zoning board about that. So we're here really for conceptual approval today on the things as it relates to the facade. And I'm going to turn it over to Bob.
So as Curtis mentioned, we're seeking conceptual approval for renovations and improvements that include improved accessibility, safety, egress compliance, seasonal front porch enclosure with dividers, a 3rd floor rear balcony, and a restored rear courtyard with a pool. The intent of the project is to improve our guest amenities, accessibility, and the architectural balance while maintaining the historic character of the building. All proposed improvements have been developed with a sensitivity to the historic significance of this key contributing structure. So we can start with rendering 1, is on the front of your packet there. This is the front facade. We are asking to increase the enclosed porch on the 1st floor by 1 bay. It's currently a 12-bay wide building and the facade. It has 7 open bays and 5 closed bays. It'll have 6 and 6 if this was accepted. We don't think that the additional enclosure dramatically changes the facade. It's 1 additional bay to allow for a different room configuration on the 1st floor. On the 2nd floor, we're asking for seasonal porch enclosures similar to what you may have seen at the Virginia Hotel. These would be enclosed wooden panels with plexiglass that are removed seasonally, bound by dates if you wish. But that is to allow guests to enjoy the hotel front balcony in the shoulder seasons when the hotel could use more elbow room. In addition to the porch enclosures, we're showing on the rendition 4 horizontally louvered dividers on the front porch to create separation and privacy for the guest room suites that don't currently exist.
Let's show them these. If you go further into your packet, you'll see this rendering. It's not a rendering, it's an old photograph, but you'll see that there were louvered enclosures on the front of this porch. We believe that they were used as sleeping porches when the hotel was originally constructed. In the other rendering, you'll see vertical dividers along the porch line, implying some sort of enclosure. Our goal is to create privacy on the porch between the rooms, hence the horizontal dividers made of louver, reminiscent of those in that first rendering. And then in the wintertime, should occupancy warrant it, we want the ability to put up those seasonal plexiglass enclosures to take the edge off the winds and give people an opportunity to go outside. They would be, there's a rendering of that,
502.
Page 502.
page 502. This is the type of thing that would go up after Columbus Day and come down around Easter.
So just a point of clarification, the A102 that you submitted this evening that shows the, I'll call it seasonally enclosed porches supersedes the A102 that you had submitted with your application where you were actually extending the room?
Yes,
Okay, great. So
we don't want a permanent enclosure. We feel like we can use the seasonal ones more appropriately.
okay. Great. Thank you.
So that's kind of the only changes to the facade. If we go to the second rendering, which is the third and fourth pages of that, that's the rear of the gate. So we'll start with the rear. We will have, are proposing to add a third floor balcony in wood to mimic the second floor balcony that already exists. The second floor balcony has doors that can provide access from the guest rooms. We want to copy that and try and add it to the third floor. In addition, we're adding an elevator to the property, and there will be an elevator bulkhead that's visible from the rear. This is in line with the rear wall. It sticks up about 5 feet on the rear. It's a foot taller than the ridge at the center of the building, and it's likely not visible from the street in most locations. The elevator shaft is going to be built inside of a service corridor stairway now that we're replacing with the elevator. Flat roof covered with wood clapboard to try and blend in and be as low as possible. The elevator is detailed on the elevations of A202. Along with the rear balcony.
Drawing 1 of A202.
And also on the back of that, right, too, shows it from the side, which is the street side, is that correct? Or is this the courtyard view, this one? That's still courtyard view? Okay. Sorry, it's, I'm always a little discombobulated when I get plans at the very last minute.
The last rendering is the rear courtyard again, but standing at the building looking out of the courtyard. Currently, a large kitchen and storage building exists here that will be replaced and restored with the original courtyard set scale and an in-ground pool. On each edge of the U-shaped building, we're going to add 3 stories of stairs on both sides for proper egress from the property. These were held tight to the building. In addition to the stairwell, the roofs will have access to conceal all the mechanical equipment that will be providing cooling and heating for the guest room.
So nothing is visible from either street
No.
except for the elevator shaft
The
top.
elevator bulkhead is above the roof line, yes.
Can I ask a question? Is it just because that's the way they make elevator shafts, so you couldn't get it a foot or two lower? I mean,
Well,
They need to have the equipment above the shaft.
Sure.
And there's a lot of codes that relate to elevators and the sizing of them. We're not sure it's going to be visible. To see it above the ridge line, you would have to be pretty far back,
and high.
almost a horizontal
high.
view. You might see it from the 4th floor of Summer Station if you were looking out your
Yeah,
window as a
That
guest.
doesn't concern me too much. All right, thank you.
So I'm sure you have lots of questions. I do have full-size drawings here to try and help show things that may not be clear on your plans. But essentially, the slight modifications to the front facade minimize any difference in the existing building while respecting the historic significance. The second floor seasonal enclosure is similar to other prior wood frame screening that's shown in Mr. Poacher's postcard book. These minimum exterior changes to the facade already exist on the hotel with the additional porch enclosure bay. The third floor balcony will be built to look like and enhance the rear of the building of the second floor. Improved or otherwise crowded rear courtyard will be restored. And of course, all trim, woodwork, and detailing will be in like kind of wood to truly restore the building. So I think,
So am I missing the cut sheets for the stuff that you're referring to as wood in your material?
that should be in the application packet for the materials checklist.
I maybe just missed it.
Yeah, it's in the original application.
I saw a checklist, but. And I'm sorry, you're saying that the cut sheets were in the packet?
There may not be cut sheets, only the
So,
selections.
so when we do this, right, and what you've specified here is a lot of wood, which is exactly what you should be doing, but help us to help us do this, and you're only here for conceptual, and when you come back for final, it'd be very helpful if you could cross-reference the particular item that's manufactured to a cut sheet that we could then just flip from the material sheet to the cut sheet,
Okay.
right? That would be helpful, and then I wouldn't have to ask you these questions.
Here for final, though.
No,
On the application, it says final.
no, they're going to.
It says that, but according to the applicant, they've got to. go in
Correct.
front of the-
There's a mistake in the application.
So we're just checking a different box on it. Okay? So much for materials.
So any other general questions before we go around the room? Shall we start with you, Mr. Hammerin?
Yeah, I just have a couple. Just first, the enclosure of the one bay on the first floor. I looked at the property report, it actually, the picture actually shows the enclosures in the property report, so I don't think the addition of one bay is materially going to change the likelihood that its key contributing status would be jeopardized. I'm not sure yet. I have to still think this through, but what the commentary on the second floor, this group came to see us at the small group meeting, and I don't remember that as being a seasonal at the time.
We initially wanted to try to enclose the porch, like 2/3 of it,
That's what
leave a walkout, but it became, for the option of renting rooms in the first quarter, to put the heating and cooling there, plus the porch has a steep slope. So it became a step issue and it seemed too complicated. Most of the, really from April through November, we leave the porch open at the Virginia and we only enclose it for a few months a year. So it was, and you guys were a little nervous about those enclosures anyway. So for us, it was, we took your feedback, looked at the numbers and decided that we could make it work with something that had already been approved in town and other applications.
And the only other comment I would make then is, I echo the comment about the cut sheets. Usually what we would ask for is cut sheets of the individual products that are being used that show the material of construction, size, et cetera. The other is, to the extent you're replacing windows or doors and things like that, a schedule that shows each window that's being tampered with in some way, whatever you want to call it, replaced, repaired. That has to show the number of lights, the pattern, the trim sizes, the material construction, all that kind of thing. And I know you've been highly sensitive about sticking with historically appropriate materials. The cut sheet for the property report, for instance, references 4/4 windows and 6-panel doors. So again, the expectation would be you'd emulate that in any replacement that you put in. So those are the kind of things that we tend to look for. And until we see those, we really don't have something to act upon other than conceptually.
Well, we wanted to do conceptual so we could go to the zoning board and check out
Makes total sense.
other changes to the use. And then we'll come back at final and we'll show you any windows that are being replaced and what the proposal would be, et cetera.
Fair.
Thank you. I think this is a much improved plan for a key contributing very historic hotel. I didn't know you were the applicant. I think that's wonderful news. I went past again today. I really appreciate the historic photo with the louvers. I think it's really interesting. I support your back courtyard. I think that's going to really augment the hotel and make it popular again, which is, of course, we would like. I'm wondering why you need the extra enclosed bay on the first floor. How critical is that to your plan?
There's guest rooms on that floor, and the guest rooms are really small, and it enables us to give each of those guest rooms a year-round living space. The guest room itself really can only hold a bed. So that the other 5 bays that are already enclosed make up half of one of those units. So it's pretty important to the layout. I don't think people will really notice the change. And the other windows have been there quite a long time. So I don't know if that was enclosed in the 2000 application. I think they were there before.
So those windows will exist in your rooms, in the hotel rooms?
Yes.
They will, okay. I guess then the rest, and I think the louvers are kind of a good idea. They look like premium, they're going to be your premium rooms, those 6 rooms. So this is the rendition of how the panels are going to look?
Yeah, there would be just single pane of plexiglass in a wood frame that would be put in the late fall and would come down in the spring.
So this appears that the panels hang on the outside.
They go behind,
They're going to hang behind the railing?
yes.
Okay.
We wanted to show the full detail of the panel. The railing is invisible. It might not show up well there, but they'll be behind the railing and columns.
Can I, okay, I think it's a good plan. I don't really object to the addition.
One little detail on this rendering. On the second floor porch, you'll notice a horizontal
Yes.
line. That is just a metal pipe to create safety above the height of the existing railing.
And that happened at Congress Hall as well.
Yes, it did.
I happened to be there today with my family, imagining the balconies enclosed because I didn't see this plan. I think it's a pretty good plan. I like it, especially if you're going to take those panels down. I guess my last question is the paint on the building. Do you plan to change the paint scheme on the building?
We painted it white again a couple years ago with the green trim. I'm a little nostalgic about that from the 60s. They had it, I don't know what color they had. It was like a light rose, but
That's right. It was light rose, I remember.
it used to be green and white when it was the Huntington House. And so that's why we painted it those colors, and we would plan to keep it that way.
Yeah, I like it. So you're not going to have any food?
So what we will ask the zoning board is to reduce the seat count from 140 seats that are currently on the Merck license to about 40. And what we're planning to do is put just a small little coffee shop, just to have a little food amenity for the guests, like a little cafe. We don't want to run a big dinner product there. I mean, when the Alcott ran as the Alcott, they did a lot of weddings there. We have other places for that. So we wanted to give the guests the ability to get a sandwich or an egg sandwich in the morning or a yogurt parfait, but, so we're asking the zoning board about that when we go to see them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I'm glad that this grand old lady is really coming back into public use. I used to hate to ride by it and not see it open. I think it's a very thoughtful design. The only question I would have is the elevator at the top of the building. Is there some way that it could be given some different treatment that may not seem as modern to help it blend in with the rest of the building?
Yeah, we drew it as small and minimal as possible, trying to conceal it. You know, if it would
If you want a cupola on top, we can always
cupola
crown
or
it.
fencing.
Believe me now. We don't want a false
Would that cupola be visible from the street?
There already is a cupola on the building,
Yeah.
believe it or not. You have to look really hard to see it. You can't really see it, but it's back here. If you go to A502 and look at drawing 1 of A502, the one where we show the glass panels unintentionally in front of the railing on the second floor. If you look up on the left-hand side, you can see the cupola. Right over here. So there's a little cupola there now. The elevator shaft, you can see it just above the ridge line. But again, this is a section view. To see that from the street, you'd have to be, I mean, maybe from the promenade, you might see it up the angle of the street, but it's not easy to see it as a pedestrian. The hotel does, yes.
So even a foot above the ridge line would almost be not.
Well, you can't really see even that cupola from the sidewalk.
And the elevator shaft is below the cupola on the rendering, right?
Yes, it is. We just show it in clapboard with a flat roof. If you have feedback, that we're open-minded, but I think it'll go away for almost every person that's looking at the building.
That was my only point. I think it's a nice design.
So let me dispose of the easy part first. All of the improvements in the U at the back are a tremendous change, which to me, since you've repurposed the building and decided to add the amenities, everything in the U looks like it's really well done. So that part, and it's not something I worry about going up Grant Street or anything like that. You know, I was prepared to have problems with the second floor enclosure, but you know, it's really funny because I was, and then I saw this. And you know, our design standards let you make a case if you can find photographic evidence of that which you were trying to do. But now that you've drawn me back to the louvers, I don't know what to say. I can't object to the things that aren't there anymore. So sometimes there's a lot of difference between first submit and what you do tonight. The louvers, to me, it seems are quite reasonable and serve a good purpose and don't detract from the facade of the building, and give people a chance to go out there without getting blown away by the winds intense winds that we seem to be picking up all the time. So much for the second floor. I'm a little concerned about the first floor extra enclosure. While I don't like it, I don't think that on balance it detracts significantly enough from. I think it detracts from the symmetry of the building. But I don't think it detracts enough to jeopardize the key status of the building. You know, every time we do this and you see little things that chip away here, chip away there, we get concerned. So I wouldn't die in the trenches over it, although I'd like to keep the enclosure the way it is. Tom?
Thanks, Jim. Jim and I had the same reaction when we saw those first plans, and I was arming myself to come in and say, you could cut down the number of rooms on the second floor and give the room space without have that kind of permanent enclosure. But I'm particularly happy, and I'm really pleased with how you've done it. Louvered shutters are famous from the deep south. You know, that a lot of the old plantation houses used shutters mainly before airflow, sunlight, and all that. So I think that's a great way to solve that problem. And I know you'll be very good about getting the glass down in the winter, in the summertime, because people are really going to want that. So I'm quite pleased with it. I didn't see anything for exterior lighting, and I would assume that all those rooms on the second floor, first floor, would probably have a little light for themselves. So I think for cut sheets too, you're going to have to add that to it. It wasn't checked off either on your checklist.
Yeah, we would just have on the second floor porch step lights that would be very low to the ground that would light the porch floor, but not actually put a light fixture. The first floor ones will certainly provide cut sheets when we, if we get through the zoning board.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is you get a second chance when you come back with a final, so you can add those cut sheets and anything else that is consistent with the comments.
No, I wish you all the best with the project. And again, I'm happy to see this coming back into transient people, which is the biggest form of income that supports so many other things in town, like Eastland Theater Company and things like that. So the more overnight people we get, rather than whole house rentals and things like that, it's so good for the economy. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
A little plug there, Tom. I like
Oh,
that.
Are they here?
They could be.
Not that you're going to do anything about it.
No. I really echo what everyone else said here. I think that it's a great project. I love the idea of the courtyard in the back, the renderings of that. It just makes sense. I had a comment about the lighting as well, so when you come back as far as the cut sheets, but I'm almost 99% sure there is a small little planter area in the front.
Yes, it's about
It's
18 inches wide.
right, and I'm hoping that there'll be beautiful landscaping there, and when you come back,
It doesn't look bad right now. You should drive by, but
okay.
yes, we'll have nice landscaping there. More evergreen than it is now.
than it is now, right? But really, the bay really doesn't bother me because it was not so much symmetrical to begin with. And that doesn't bother me at all. So, and those are my comments, Mr. Chair.
John, can I ask one more question? Please. I'd like to know a little bit about the construction of the panels since they're temporary. I think, again, when we talked last, my recollection, this was a proposal for permanent enclosures. So I'm just curious how you're going to handle the put up and removal and how difficult that is.
So it's a wood frame panel with a piece of plexiglass that's inserted into a rabbited channel. They're painted wood. We use mahogany.
And how do you mount them into the building itself?
Usually we install a floor rail and a head rail that
Okay.
receives the porch panels.
So the panel goes up into the upper track and then sits down into
Yes.
the lower track.
So there's virtually no fasteners, except for attaching the rails to the floor and
And
ceiling.
those are just inside the railings?
Correct, yeah. We usually keep them inside the posts far enough to avoid cutting any of the post feet or, things of that nature off of the columns.
Okay. My recollection is we've approved something like that before.
That's what I was going to ask.
Well, if you,
Did we not?
I would tell you to go by the Virginia or the Star, but they're down now because it's summertime.
The Virginia. I think is what
Yeah.
we did.
The Star was the
on
last
Perry
one,
Street?
yes.
And are you because that was the most recent one that this board had was the Star Inn. Is this basically the same concept as the Star Inn?
Yes.
Okay. And would you be proposing? We had a time frame in that. Is it
fine.
Same time frame, same construction.
Yes.
With the, I'm sorry, John, one more thing. With the exposure that you have and the wind that comes off the ocean, you just want to be sure you're well fastened. We've had some increase in the average wind speeds over the last several years, and it's
Last night.
it's going to be a really serious matter. So be sure you're well braced with those things. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I recall with Star Villa, I know our only concern was that, during the summer season, whether there would be any remnants of that would be visible of the
Yes.
track that holds it in place.
Well,
And I think we addressed it.
We did, yeah. It was a one-piece head rail and floor mount. It's completely removed. We caulked the 6 or 7 holes.
Same plan.
Yeah, yep.
Just a few additional comments and one question. The railing in the third floor balcony in the back will be the same jigsaw pattern as the others? Assume that was the case. You know, there's another very nice shift from your last, the set that we got. So let me clarify that. The set that was given in the application, we can put this in the garbage can?
Yes.
So we're totally replacing what you gave us, right?
Yes.
Okay. In that other plan, on the right side elevation, there were 3 small square windows that were shifted that weren't in alignment with the second and third floor windows. You fixed that. They're now all in alignment, but there's one issue though that happened because of that. On drawing A101, the first floor plan, it looks like one of those windows, the one furthermost towards the street, is actually being interrupted by the back wall of the shower. So does that mean that that's not really a window?
Let's get to the plan. Which page,
So,
A1?
Yeah, look at A101, and the elevation I'm referring to is 1 on A201. So it'd be the leftmost new window on 1A201, and it would be on the first floor plan, 1A101. Of the 3 new windows, the one that's closest to the street looks like the back wall of the shower is interrupting that window. Does that mean it's not really a window?
On the southern elevation?
The beach, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be suite, would be the shower in suite 108.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Well, in this instance,
Maybe.
we use real windows and we put a frosted glass, either solid panel on the shower enclosure, or we use metal shower enclosure frame kits that we put inside the shower. Generally, we don't blank off windows altogether, but you can see this window.
Well,
I think those
I,
are,
I would agree that you could do that. The problem is that that doesn't work if the wall is hitting directly into the glazing. So I think there's an easy solution to this. Because what you've done is you've actually aligned those first floor windows with the second and third floor. You could simply bump that wall. It would create a little eccentricity in the bedroom, but you could bump that wall up just enough so the wall hits the frame as opposed to the glazing portion of the window. So again, it makes an eccentric bedroom suite, but not by much, right?
Understood.
Yeah, and in fact, another thing you could
is there
do.
an elevation of that south facade?
Yeah, it's A1 or 1 on A201. So you can see what you've done is in the last plan, you had those 3 windows shifted to the left. Now they're perfectly in alignment with the second and third floor windows. So that's a great move. Big improvement from your last submission. Problem is that there's a conflict in the back shower wall in suite 108. But I think that's easily fixable. There's a couple things you could do. You could actually put the chase wall on the opposite side of the shower, flip the shower.
Well, we'll
You'll
look
fix it.
at that.
Yeah. I would just
Thank
want to make sure that that's a real window and isn't, an opaque.
Well, it doesn't much matter what's behind it, does it, as long as it's a real
As
window?
long as it's a real window. Well, but right now it can't be because that wall, that partition is slamming right into the glazing portion of the window.
far.
Yeah. So that would just be one thing that I would strongly object to if you can't revise that. Other than that, one of the issues here, when you guys give us these drawings, most of us spend hours looking at these before we come to the meetings. So I invested like 3 hours looking at these drawings, and now I'm trying to catch up because now I'm looking at all new
I
stuff.
apologize. I did ask the secretary if I should bring them in earlier, and maybe I wasn't clear with the scale or the amount of changes that were in
Yeah.
the plans, but I knew that I had a whole new set. Yes.
So that's the bad news. The good news is that almost everything is an improvement. So I'm glad you did it.
We will not waste your time next.
Okay.
I mean, it just makes it so much easier for us if we get something that we do study and we don't have to come here and spend 5 minutes trying to.
Catch up.
Yeah, so I don't want to waste any more time on this, but I do have one other comment, and that is, since the comment about the additional enclosed bay on the first floor has been brought up, there is a symmetry to this building that is very subtle, and it is that gable that's up on the third floor, there's a double arched window right smack in the middle on the third floor. There's a double window right in the middle on the second floor. And what happens now that you've taken and enclosed that sixth bay or seventh bay, one, two, three, the sixth bay, is that now that partition is right smack in the middle of the building, which means you can't have a window there anymore, which you fixed by moving the window. And so what I think that it's subtle enough that we can accept it. Because what you've done is you've taken that window that was centered and shifted it over. So it's taking the same exact window and just shifting it over enough so that its full expression remains on the facade, right? Okay. So you made up for that. It's subtle enough that I don't think anybody will see it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we're also trying to get bathrooms that are large enough for people to use.
exactly. Got it. Okay. Other than that, I think that I would like to entertain a motion for conceptual approval with the following comments, and this would be, I'll make the motion actually, that we do need cut sheets for all materials and lighting fixtures, that we need a bit more detail of the seasonal enclosure panels, not unlike what you've submitted in the past, so we can see exactly how they're constructed and will be capable of removal as opposed to permanently bolted in place. Third, formalized dates of the panel removals, a commitment to which dates you would have them there or not. And let's see, I think that's it. Oh, there was one other one, somebody.
Window and door schedule.
Window and door details, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's window doors, trim,
Yep.
panes, whether it was 4/4, et cetera, to emulate what's on the property report and currently in place.
so Mr. Shapansky, the description of that is actually on our materials checklist when it speaks directly about replacing windows in a contributing structure. It gives you pretty significant detail on what we're asking for, so we can make sure that what you're proposing and installing matches what was there.
Yeah, I
John?
mean, like the cut sheets that have details, a schedule of window replacement where we could actually key it to the building would be, again, helpful.
John,
Yes.
I would like to see photographs of the existing cupola. And,
Speak up, Gene.
if somehow you can give us a photograph of the building from far enough away that we can see the cupola and where the elevator shaft would be on the roof, I think that would be really helpful because we all expressed a little concern about that. Seeing it, that it's flat, it might be visible. I mean, I know you've stated that it's not visible, but it
I
would be.
think we'll go down Grant Street to the north
Mhm.
on the west side and go as far as we can and see what we can get. We can
Okay.
also go up that road behind the beach shack. What's the name of that?
The triangle, Heritage.
Heritage Triangle,
Yeah, Heritage
that road.
Mhm.
So we'll do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I mean, it would be a street level view. We don't need to have a drone.
I don't have to use a lift
You
or.
don't have to use a drone or anything else to go up. I mean, our streetscape concept is people walking on the streets.
Right, okay.
So one last thing, thank you very much for bringing those historical photos, because I scoured the internet and found the one from, because they weren't in the original packet. And I found this one from a 1920 postcard, when, by the way, room and board was $9 to $15 a day. Think we can do that again? Yeah.
I think
Okay.
15 would get
You
you.
know, I was.
Yeah, it'd be really good, right?
I
Okay,
said- I
so
was
we
in-
have a motion on the table.
And just another point, the other reason they have all that, the cut sheets and the materials is really for the field inspector when he goes out to make sure that what's being done matches what was approved.
Correct.
And
So,
the final would also have to have a landscaping provision of the landscaping we talked about.
correct. Okay, good. Got that one?
Landscaping,
Landscaping plan.
okay. I have a follow-up question on, there's a couple elements to this, but the one, we have the louver dividers on the second little porch. Are the seasonal panels going to be only on the second porch or on the second porch and the first floor, or am I getting that confused?
Only the second floor.
Okay, so that the area.
Now that you mention it, I guess we should ask, but no, we were asking for the second floor.
Okay, so the seasonal enclosures are only gonna apply to the second floor with the louvered dividers, right? And then the first floor, that's just gonna remain open.
With the exception of the
with
additional
the-
enclosed.
With the bay,
Bay.
that's going to be,
Enclosed for the guest room.
got it, okay. That was my only clarification, I'm good,
Okay.
thank you.
So we have a motion on the table for conceptual approval with those 4 or 5 bullet points. Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
So moved by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Testa. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerman, Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Well, it's a little late, but
it is a little late. Go ahead.
is there anyone here who wishes to comment from the public on this application? Seeing,
Oh,
seeing.
I'm glad.
Seeing no one, that would be wise for us.
Great, thank you. All right, moving on to the next application, please. Thank you. Aylmer at 520 Elmira Street. You could please join us at the front table. And if you could please state your name, your address, and your role in the project, please. Oh, I pressed the button?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Andrew Mormilli with Major League Lawn Care. I'm the contractor on the project.
And have you been authorized by the owner to speak on their
Yes.
behalf? And do we have,
We have written authorization.
Thank you.
Thank you.
the floor is yours.
So I'm seeking approval to update the existing landscaping, which is currently a stone driveway with a mixture of a stone and paver backyard. Those will be changed into a permeable paver. And there is currently a wooden step in the backyard that would be transitioned to match the existing brick steps that's on the backside and front of the existing house. On all those steps, there will be a metal railing that is Trex Select, which is an aluminum black railing. That'll be on all 3 of the steps. On those steps would be a brick veneer. And there's currently a shower enclosure that will be moved a little bit to allow it to be a little bit larger than it currently is because there is a window. And that would be made out of all pressure treated wood.
Okay. I'm going to presume that this is fairly straightforward, and rather than going around the room, if anybody has any questions or comments for this applicant, please jump right
I
in.
have one question, and it's on this rendering here.
Yes.
On the side, are the bricks really going to be vertical as opposed to horizontal?
I think we have a software issue here.
Yeah, or is it just something from the,
So that is what is currently there actually. So they do have the brick going that way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it ever came in front of us, did it?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah,
I believe there are current photos. That is on page.
I thought we were replacing it. I thought it was.
There's a sign in the way.
Okay.
Replacing backyard wooden steps with brick veneer.
So in the backyard, there's currently wooden steps.
Right, okay, so that's the wooden steps.
So that would get replaced to match the brick veneer steps.
Oh,
Um,
the one thing I just could not abide is verticality of the brick veneer. Whatever you do to this stairway, you cannot have those bricks standing up like they're pictured here.
yeah, I'm seeing, yeah, because that's what's currently there. That wouldn't be an addition.
I'm amazed.
Um, correct, on the front steps.
It doesn't look.
Are they sideways?
It looks like it's sideways.
Okay. Then-
They're horizontal, right?
It looks like they're horizontal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so
I just.
I
thought-
apologize for
I
that.
just thought it was a software
yeah.
right?
glitch.
Okay, great.
Okay, so nobody has bricks, whether they're full course or veneer, arranged vertically like that on the side of steps.
Yeah.
It's like the stuff you draw when you're a kid and the chicken goes this way on the side of the roof.
Any other questions or comments for this applicant?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Much of this is in the back of the house, and it is a non-contributing building. But to just help out with matching and blending with the things inside, around you, I would love to see a wood railing system on the front bed bricks, white to match the trim on the house. It would really help it blend in with in the community.
Okay, when you say white, so like a wood with a white.
Wood out, running down, so you have a handrail and a top rail. And following our critique on, the size of the railings and things and spacing on them, it would just help that whole house blend in a lot better on the street than a very lightweight aluminum railing on it.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion to help it blend into the community as a non-contributing, but.
And I'm going to assume you have no further applications to make to anyone else, right? Because this application's unchecked, and I'm going to assume it's a final application.
So on this, I do I do need a zoning approval for lot coverage
Okay, so.
for the permeable pavers.
So that actually is good news for us. That means that we could consider this a conceptual submission tonight.
Okay.
And you could come back to us with the final submission with the railings that are being asked for the front porch. Would that be acceptable to you?
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Could he come back?
Made that
to the,
easy.
Tuesday meetings? for that?
So
Just for that railing?
we could do that. It's in that gray area of what qualifies as a minor application because it is actually new construction. So I'm hesitant to do that.
Okay.
I'd like to see a final application in front of all of us.
Correct. So if you folks, thank you, Kevin. If you folks would all agree or decide that we could review the railing in review and not require our applicant to come back for a final submission, I think we can approve it accordingly.
How do we move?
I don't see
how do
any
we move
proposal for railings on the front.
There isn't.
Oh, you were asking for them,
Asking
Tom.
for it, yes.
I agree with Tom. I concur with Tom. That would greatly improve the front facade of the building.
Get me, please, from a conceptual to a final by
In review,
can't.
yeah, I don't.
okay.
He still needs to go before zoning, so it's still going to have to be a conceptual approval. We can't give you a final approval until
Yeah.
you get zoning.
I would prefer that it comes back.
I would too, actually.
Okay, so we'll work on a conceptual approval tonight. And that conceptual approval will include the change in the railing or suggested change.
Front step?
What you've agreed to, which
John,
is to use a
that's
wood.
the picture I'm looking at.
Yeah.
To change that to white.
Yeah.
And I would certainly suggest you continue it down the steps too for a handrail.
Correct. Yes. So I think what's being asked for is that the railings be made of wood,
Plant bushes.
Just the front, I think.
just the
Just
front.
the front, okay.
Not the back, just the front. And comply or comport with or are designed in accord with our standards for porch railings that, are you familiar with this book?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can download this from our website as a
Okay.
PDF file, or you could purchase a hard copy from Amazon.
Okay.
But the railing details that we look for are described here pretty clearly. And if you have any questions about that, you could come before us on Tuesday morning and ask us about it.
Okay.
So you could bring a sketch and we could talk about it and pretty much say, yep, looks like this would be acceptable before you come back for your final review. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Great. So I think we have a conceptual, oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Couple of quick items. One is, is there a plan for lighting or landscaping? For this property?
Our job scope does not include any lighting.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's nothing changing or adding to that,
No, not in that portion, no.
okay, and landscaping, other than the pavers?
As of right now, no.
Okay. On the application on the front page, it says installing black aluminum railings on all exterior brick steps 3. So I'm assuming that included the front.
Yeah.
So yes, that included the front one and
the
the
two in the
existing
back.
one in the back and the new one in the back.
Right. Okay.
So just changing that,
So now we're just changing the front one.
Just the front.
just the front, okay.
Yes. Any other comments from the commissioners?
Well, I think when it comes back, you're going to want the dimensions of the railings, right? And the balusters and everything.
So typically what we're looking for are 1.75 inch square vertical balusters
Okay.
with no more than a 3 inch space between them, with a bottom rail and a top rail that have some substance to them. And you can see depictions of those in our standards that might be helpful to you. Okay? Before we entertain a motion, are there any members of the public who would like to comment on this application? Hearing none, I would like to move for conceptual approval with two conditions. One is that the bricks run horizontally, and the second is to add a conforming wood railing to the front steps.
Okay.
Both sides,
Both sides.
both sides. Yep.
Okay, yes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So moved by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Carroll. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerand,
Yes.
Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we'll see you again after you go to zoning. Great, thank you. Next applicant, please, Cape Anita LLC, 918 Stockton. This is converting a triplex to a two-family dwelling and adding a deck and an HVAC system. Good evening, Mr. Scarpa. If you could please state your name, your address, and your role on the project.
Yes, hello. My name is Joe Scarpa. I'm project architect for the Heinlein Group out of Claremont, New Jersey.
And you are here with authorization from the owner, is that correct?
Yes, written authorization from the owner for Cape Anita. I would
Great.
say.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. The project being spoken upon is for 918 Stockton Avenue in the residential seasonal district zone. At last month's recent HPC meeting, we started a dialogue concerning this project, and the application was tabled. There were several points discussed that required some modification and clarity. I would be happy to represent the application if it is preferred, but I would like to go over those points, and hopefully this presentation supplemented by the application resubmission and material cut sheets will help clarify those issues. Does anybody have any problems with
I think that's quite appropriate. Thank you.
All right, these are from my notes, items as follows. A differential marker was required to be added to create a visual separation between the new and existing building. That was added, and I think it believes it helps out the project a lot because it finals off that hip roof. Cut sheets were revised to indicate the use of wood trim, decking, clapboards, siding, doors, windows, columns, and railings. All wood at this point. Cut sheets were revised to indicate the windows are exterior prime wood with simulated divided lights present on the exterior of the windows. Existing brick chimney, unfortunately, was stuccoed over. I can hand these out if you'd like on it. And due to the difficulty of removing this stucco, while keeping the existing brick intact, we intend on keeping the stucco finish that exists on both the chimneys. Since our last visit, our client has obtained the services of a landscape architect, Tom Weiler, who has not only developed a landscaping plan, but provided cut sheets for the paving materials and landscaping light fixtures. The exposed rafter tails, we elaborated and now show in detail that we are keeping exposed rafter tails and adding them to the new addition, all repaired on the existing, will repair as required on the existing. Shutters have been revised has operable louver-type window shutters with iron hardware, similar to the Victorian styles found in the historic district. Railing details were elaborated on and provided with cut sheets with the profiles of 3-inch max spacing. The stairs have now maintained the current straight approach to the position with additional steps to grade given the new elevation height. A large rear sliding door was added to the rear of the home beneath the new decks. Parking clearances beneath the home, in conjunction with proper drainage, was difficult to achieve after further analysis. The door was added to the rear to allow access for storage beneath the elevated home. The elevator door was relocated to the side of the home for proper clearance access. Lighting was added to the submittal for review and comment. And there was a last issue that was the screening of the generator and HVAC condensers were discussed, but indicated that would be on the roof screened out of the visual sight lines. In addition to these items, the board requested that we confirm with the local zoning officer if any variances were required. The site plan and a number of items were presented to the zoning officer, of which were discussed and determined to be within the zoning ordinance requirements. I can elaborate on our discussion if the board would like more detail. I guess now I'll just ask the board for comments, questions, or any recommendations that you have.
Just one question about the sliding doors. Those are solid wood, is that correct?
Solid wood,
Great,
yes.
Thank you.
On page HBC 201, on the proposed front, I guess that is, you have shutters on the 3rd floor, 2nd floor, and is there any reason why they're not on the first to provide more balance, or?
I felt that those actually windows are quite particular to this project. They're actually pretty interesting. They're actually large double hungs that actually even go up and go into the wall itself. Very particular, very interesting, very neat to this home as well. I felt that it was, I don't use the word overkill, but I felt the proportion of now having shutters, I felt that there was enough protection under those things, and adding those shutters would be just, they'd be large and more cumbersome.
I have a couple of questions. In the front elevations, you can see there on the existing, there are actually 2 chimneys, and on the proposed, there's only 1. So are you planning to remove a chimney?
No, I actually don't. I don't know why that's being,
It also,
it shows up, does it show up on the other one?
it doesn't show up on the
my-
east elevation either.
Well, what happens is we have a whole elevator that's access. Obviously, we could leave it for aesthetic uses, but it'd be a good time to remove it if it was possible.
Generally speaking, if there's a chimney that's part of the historic structure of the house, we look to retain it, even if it's just the piece above the roof, so that it preserves the historic picture of the house.
Sure, absolutely. We can keep that.
Is that it, Kevin?
I'm good. Thanks.
I think I said last time, I thought I liked this plan. I thought it looked like an addition that was appropriate. I don't like the lighting. This is a Craftsman style light. And this is a Gothic Victorian house. You have added the little element in the gable.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's going to be 6 of these lights on the front porch. So it's quite a significant lighting fixture. And I just wonder if you might be able to find something that looks a little more Victorian than this,
I might have to research some other things.
or simpler, just,
That's what I think I was trying to do, is I was trying to look for a simpler light because most of your Victorian lights are pretty elaborate. So I wanted to go with something. That's why it tend to go to like a Craftsman
well,
style. But if you
it's
want something
16
more,
inches high, so it's a significant light fixture. I mean,
Yes.
These are going to be 6 really significant light fixtures. And maybe Tom can offer something else, or John. Other than that, I think it's a nice plan. I like it. Thank you.
Mr. Stevenson, have you more questions?
No, the only thing I wanted to know was how much higher are you lifting a building than it is now?
it is a little bit more than 1 foot
At 1 foot.
to get to the state mandate. Yep. Correct.
That's it. I thank you for your reconciliation of the cut sheets and the materials sheets. It looks like you've covered everything very thoroughly with respect to getting the details down to what you're producing and what it comes from. So that's very good to see. And everything I see, and there's so many of them, but it seems like you're complying with all the required materials. Your addition in back is to me very elaborate, but it's also in the back. So it's not really interfering with the facade, which you've made changes. I think your discussion of reconciliation from the earlier discussion is just it's very satisfying to me.
Okay.
I'm okay right now.
And pretty much the same thing with me. I know I brought up the concern with the stairs, and it looks like you have enough of a landing at the base of the stairs before you actually hit the sidewalk.
Yes,
That,
absolutely. I think, and also the landscape architect is coming up with a nice solution for the bottom of that step, which I think
Yeah.
blends in well with the.
no, it looks good, and I'm glad that you didn't change the orientation of it. The addition on the back, it's nice that it's on the back. You did a nice job on that, and also answering all the questions of the commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a couple of other questions then, if you don't mind. One is, I did notice that the current house as it exists does not have any shutters at all, and the proposed does. So those are for purposes of protecting the window. They're working shutters.
They are working shutters with iron hardware.
Okay.
And yes, while they don't have it on now, I think there is signs of it having shutters.
You've detailed the hardware on it. It's clearly working stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
clearly working stuff.
Tom did mention on the last, I asked Tom about that last time, and Tom did confirm that there probably were shutters on this house. Is that correct, Tom?
Yes.
Well, do I remember this? These are timber lanes?
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
And
okay, so
I
we know
believe
that-
they're actually, was it tomorrow they're giving a presentation on those shutters as well, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's used.
So, no, I mean, you've really done a nice job taking our comments from what resulted in us giving you that input and then working it into this final presentation.
My only wish is that I would have done it the first time around. That's the
Well,
only-
you know, actually you get 3 strikes in baseball, so you're doing pretty well.
Okay.
John, just
Yeah.
to get back to Judy's point about the lights, they are definitely Craftsman era, about 20, 30 years later than what we would have had. But, you know, I've been looking around town trying to find any old side-mounted lights, and they're really not around. If they were on the porch, it was generally something hanging down from the overhead. So some of the things that are coming out now are like taking a street light appearance and making a bracket out of it, and are a little bit of an overkill, which I think is not any more appropriate than these little Craftsman lights.
Yeah, the problem with them though, Tom, is they've gotten to be very exaggerated. They're very, very long now.
Yes.
And I've seen them on a lot of our homes, and they're really not appropriate for a Victorian light. Like, I mean, if it was a lot smaller, I wouldn't feel that
You know,
way.
Judy, some of the manufacturers make them in small, medium, and large.
I know.
Yes, they do. They actually, that one actually doesn't, and I would be even open to. I mean, in thinking about it, and I can do some research and reach out to them of having lighting that is concealed. So it's not so much something you look at, something that applies a light, but you don't see it per se. The porch is a large porch. You'd like to use the porch. I notice if you go down in that street and you look at each light, somebody tries to throw on I'm sorry to say, it's a Victorian style light that may not have been contributing, and it just looks like, again, like it's something like that. Yeah. They could definitely be. They come in actually 2 sizes smaller than that.
Could be a condition of approval.
Yeah, this could be something we could review in committee. And I would suggest the same thing for the ceiling mounted fixture because it's that same Craftsman look.
Absolutely, same
Yeah.
style.
Same
I get
Kichler manufacturer.
The other thing,
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, just 2 others to mention. One is the railings, and it's really, what drew my attention was the back of the west elevation of this, just to make sure you remember, as I think it was John presented earlier, Usually spindles have a 3-inch gap, no more than a 3-inch gap between the spindles.
Correct.
I didn't know if, I didn't see it anywhere in the architect's notes, whether that was the case or not. Just that's what our standard is no more than 3-inch spacing between spindles. And the front door configuration is different in the proposed from the existing. Is the existing a historic door? Do you know if that was part of the original?
I do not know if it was part of the original. It is a half-light door. I mean, unless I look at it, I mean,
Yeah, just curious if it's part of the original or it's at least historic door, then the first question is, can it be saved? And just reused in some way. Usually the doors can be dipped and then restained, things like that. I mean, that would be the preference, just to continue to use the historic material that was in place at the time. If not, then I understand going to a different door.
yeah, I guess we could look to see how the shape of the door and see if it's something that could be sustained.
Saved in some way. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for being so comprehensive in your presentation about what it was that we reviewed last time that you have revised. Very well presented. I only have two very quick comments, and I think one of them is probably just a drafting error. On HPC 202, which is the proposed elevation, that wonderful separation that you have between the addition and the existing structure is called out as a hardy trim.
No, it is not. That is definitely an error.
Yeah.
Please let the board knows that I would like that stricken from the drawings.
So stricken.
We're going to depend on your
Yeah.
materials cut sheets, which do not show anything
Okay.
but wood.
And the only other thing that, just to be clear, because when our inspector goes out into the field to verify that what you've submitted is actually being installed, the cut sheets that you have for the windows show 3 different kinds of divided lights. Somehow on this cut sheet, when you come back to us in review, give us in a revised application supplement that it's specifically the SDLs, the simulated divided lights, because some of these are snap-in grills or infill grills. So we just want to make sure that
Yeah.
because if you're not specifying those, then
Yeah, I thought the fact that I supplied a cut sheet on it to show
if you did, I missed it.
this one, exterior wood windows continued, it actually shows all the simulated divided lights on the outside. This would be, I'm sorry, page 15
Got it.
of the cut sheets.
I'm looking.
Cut sheets.
Very next page, actually.
Yeah, exterior wood windows.
Actually, it doesn't show the simulated divided lights. All you really need to do is circle on page 14 that you're using the simulated divided lights and
Got
just put a cross out through the
Okay.
infill or snap-in grills, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, before we entertain a motion, are there any comments from the public on this project? Hearing none, I have 4 notes with regard to granting final approval for this. 4 conditions. 1 is no hardy trim. 2nd is keep the chimneys. 3rd is revise the lighting fixtures with a resubmittal for the porch ceiling and wall sconces. And railing details, I think we need to see. And lastly, just the verification that they are simulated divided lights. I'm sorry, that's 5 things. We can approve this conditionally that if you bring those supplemental components to us in review committee on Tuesday, we can approve them accordingly.
That's fine.
Are you okay with that?
I'm absolutely okay with that.
You're okay with that?
Yep.
Good. All right, great. So I would make that motion with those 5 comments. If someone would like to second it.
I'll second it.
So moved by Mr. Becker, seconded by Ms. Decker. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammeran, Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes. Thank you again, Mr. Scarpa.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, moving on. Our next submission is Miller at 535 Bank Street. Will you please come up before us and make your presentation? While they're coming up, I must say that this applicant has been before us 3 weeks in a row, maybe 4 times. 4 times. Three in a row, but 4 times total.
You're right. You're right, you're right.
It has truly been a collaborative process up until this point in our Tuesday morning review meetings, and we thank you for that. Oh, we have new stuff. Oh, that's right. Yep. We had asked them to supplement. So there's only one new drawing, correct? Or not?
This is the data sheet and stuff changed. There's different stuff changed because of.
Oh, because of the square footage?
There's-
Okay. If you could just point out what's different and what's not, that would be great. But let me ask you this. In the same way as we experienced earlier tonight, does this full package completely replace the prior package so we
Yeah,
can
because
dump
we
the
thought
prior
if we
one?
just replaced a couple pages, it would be confusing. So we'd
Got it.
rather just do that whole page.
Okay, so we can all discard the
Gonna
prior
take
submission.
care-
There's only been a few changes.
Put this,
Okay, if you could please state your name, your address, and your role in the project?
My name is Paul Massing. My address 1015 Belvoir Road, Plymouth Meeting, PA. Do you need that information?
We have it on the application.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay.
But-
Um,
please speak into the microphone a little
yeah.
closer, though.
oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm here about 535 Bank Street. Right now, the house is inhabitable.
Excuse me, could we just have the other introduction, please?
And,
Yes.
sorry, Mr. Massing, your role in the project is?
I'm a contractor.
Got it. Thank
And
you.
we're trying to go through this to purchase this, to restore this house and restore this property.
Allison Wallace, 739 County Line Road, Villanova, and I hope to be a buyer of 535 Bank.
Okay.
Is this house under contract,
No,
We're verbal.
verbal, but not written.
Chris?
So,
They have no interest in it.
Is there, and maybe I didn't see it in here, but is there some confirmation with the property owner? that-
There's a written that she's consenting to our presenting. We have a
I'm
written.
sorry, it may just be my ears, but I would ask you to
I'm
speak up,
sorry.
please.
Yep, sure. We
Much
have
better.
we have a signed letter from Christine Miller that gives us permission to present.
I just want to.
Lauren has it. It was asked for.
You have
Yeah,
that, Lauren?
I do have that.
I don't want to slow things down. I
Yeah, no, that's understood.
just want to make sure where
Yep.
it was.
Nope, Lauren has it.
Thank you.
okay, the floor is yours.
Yeah, and just say, we needed to come here to know what can be done with the property before we could purchase it. So that, she agreed to let us come here and ask ask for some approvals before we move forward. The house is uninhabitable right now. Has a minimal one-size bathroom. We plan on to move it to meet zoning. I plan on raising the house to meet flood. I want to raise the grade with a 2-foot retaining wall and make the grade from the wall to the house go up another foot. So, because it is at 7, I would want it to probably be at 11 because I think by the time the project's done, that's where the state mandate will be. I don't want that massing of the bottom. That's why I want to put a retaining wall on the grade. I want to remove the additions there's a couple additions on the back of the house. I'd like to remove the additions and put a new addition on the back of the house. I'd also like to put a garage in the back of the house, which will be attached from a breezeway, so I could have bedrooms on top of the garage. Just because the house is so small. I just wanted to make it functional. So, I'd also like to enlarge the front porch. It's now enclosed. I'd like an open air front porch, and I would like it 6 feet, 6. I'd like it to be like 8 foot in depth, so it's a usable front porch and open air. I'd also like the garage for off-street parking and driveway, so there might have been some off-street parking at one time, but there's nothing right now, so it's all overgrown. On the plans, I would just want to say, there is an existing chimney that's on the house. It goes through the center of the house. It's not used or anything else, but I would still like to put that chimney portion back on the top of the house. I'm sorry, it's not in the drawings. I asked for it.
So in other words, the chimney will stay. Is that correct?
The exterior portion of the chimney would stay.
Exterior. Got it. Okay, thank you. One other clarification, just for everyone understanding. You're actually lifting this house and moving it so it can
Yes,
conform.
because it's, the eaves are 8 inches over the property line right now, so I would want to make the whole property conform. So you know I wouldn't be asking for any variances from zoning.
So you've checked conceptually.
I think a couple of things are worth noting, just from the extensive
That's conceptual.
discussions we've had at the review committee. One is that he is actually restoring the front porch to an open porch. That's the historic accuracy of the building. It was sometime enclosed after it was well constructed. And reversing the entry steps is likely to be correct historically as well. The stairs were moved from one side of the building to the other, and I think that's likely restoring it to its original correct form.
So Kevin, are you saying, I missed part of that. You're saying that's acceptable to you?
I just think that that's worth noting to the group
Got
that
it.
the porch is currently enclosed, and that was most likely a later addition to the building at some point in the past, but after the point of historical accuracy, it was added after that. And the second is they're proposing to move the front steps over to the other side of the front porch, which also is likely historically accurate. Those are two things we noted in the review committee.
Right, because the porch is currently fully enclosed and
Right.
totally opening up and expanding it, yes?
Right.
Great. Any other questions or comments, Kevin?
Just that at some point, when this goes to final approval, I think we'll want to make sure we see a window schedule which shows which windows are being replaced, which are being repaired or what have you, all the different trim details, sizes, things like that, the number of window lights, that they're all simulated divided lights or full divided lights. So that I think is just something we'll need when you go to final approval.
Ms. Decker?
Well, like the rest of the commission, I've never seen this before, so I'm not familiar with this at all. It is a nice little house. I'm confused by the wings that are sticking out on the side. Traditionally, a house would go straight back. I don't understand why it's not going straight back, just attached to the garage. So I'm a little confused about this look, which completely changes the look of this house. It's contributing. It's not a typical cross gable plan this is not typically how additions were done. I'm not in the working group, but I think I probably would have liked to have seen, I would have worked on this a little more, maybe. I think this breezeway concept is a little odd. So I think it's not appropriate. Sorry, but
So your comments about what would be your responses be?
it's nice that you're opening the front porch, you're proposing to make it bigger. I just don't think I have enough visual material.
The house is only 16 by 20.
It's tiny. I get it. I mean, I think an addition is appropriate. You're moving it, you're elevating it. It looks like it's in terrible condition. I think it's great. It's a nice little house. And I just can't envision these wings in the back. I don't know why it couldn't go straight back and be attached to the garage.
Well, I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be made as large as it is. Jake, I'm sorry to jump you. You want to comment?
Okay, well, again, I'm referring to our standards. on page 54 regarding height, massing, proportion, and scale. Additions should always be subordinate and not compete visually with the original building, which I think that this elevation certainly does. I mean, it's a cute little cottage, and I don't know what this is, but it's looming over it, and it's overpowering the original structure. And even we have it, there's an illustration on page 55 where it shows you an existing building and a big addition on the back. It's in our standards, it's in black and white, and I agree with Ms. Decker as well.
Just while on the subject of the addition, which is an HPC concern, I just want to flag something here because it may relate to what type of approval you could even get tonight. I'm looking at your zoning schedule that you sent through here, and I understand the concept here is that you want to kind of pick this up and maybe eliminate some nonconformities and fit it within, strictly within a, you know, a bulk setback and comply with all those things. Because if you don't have to go to the board for that, that's great, right? You're always trying to look to avoid those. However, I'm looking at, so our FAR, I don't see that FAR is listed on here, but it is one of the requirements for this type of thing. And it's 0.40. So if I'm looking at your lot area at 5950 times 0.40 is
I thought it was 0.45.
for
You're,
single-family detached dwelling, which is what this is, right?
yes.
So
In which zone?
in
Our-
all throughout, section 52, 525, 52, regarding floor area ratios is single-family detached dwellings.
Right.
So that's a 0.40 requirement. I'm not the zoning officer. I'm just flagging
Yeah, I
this. as
did show him that, so yeah.
I'm just, because it may relate to the, kind of the bulk that the board's talking about.
Yep.
So that's just something we may want to clarify with the zoning officer,
Yeah,
just to
definitely.
make sure that what you're trying to advance here is, fits within that as well.
So if you could explain that that second floor over the garage is what put you over, right?
Yes.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I just feel, go ahead. I feel it needs so many bedrooms to make it worthwhile for Ms. Wallace to buy this. So if she can't put her family in it, then it's already, they're not big bedrooms to begin with. They're 9 by 10 bedrooms or whatever. They're very small. So she has children, and the children have significant others, and that, you know, she couldn't have those people come to her house. So she can't spend this kind of volume of money. I know this is not part of the HPC about money, but if you're going to invest $1 million plus, you know, buy the property and then invest another $1 million to do this and not be able to use it or not be able to have her family here, then why would she do this?
And that's a real consideration for anybody looking to buy. My reason in bringing that up is not to say that's a terrible idea or whatever it is. It's more just to flag it as if what you want to do requires that relief, really, we're only in the position to provide a conceptual approval anyway. But if your goal is to fit whatever you can within the confines of zoning so you don't have to make that trip to the board, that's fine, that's your choice. But really, that dividing line for us is whether we consider this a conceptual or a final. So that's why I flagged it.
Yeah.
And just to note.
And we were really looking for a conceptual, so that's really.
Yeah, and just to note, if, when you do the calculations, the maximum FAR is 40%, you're at 41.26, so there's some wiggle room there that you might be able to get within that limit, but that's a zoning issue, it's not an HPC issue. But it does address the massing issue to some extent, okay.
Well, I think I'm going to help them out in that respect, but it's not very helpful what I'm going to say. First of all, it's a great idea to take this house, put it where it makes sense, elevate it as you have, and all of those things make perfectly good sense. What doesn't make sense is, and I'm sympathetic because this is such a small house, and so you're trying to make it big enough for it to be usable. But unfortunately, it's also a contributing property. And this addition is disproportionately large relative to the house, even though the house is small. And I think that's been brought up before. We have design standards, and those standards tell me that the addition that's being put on here is simply too large relative to the size of the house. And I wouldn't be able to support this just because of the size. I'm sympathetic to the argument and the problem, but the house is not one where you can put on a giant addition and still have it be a contributing property. One of our concerns, of course, is when we do this stuff and the next survey comes out, that the house doesn't lose its contributing status. And that's what I'm afraid would happen with this addition. I won't even get to the garage and back or the breezeway. The addition is just disproportionately large, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm in agreement with all that's been said, but I have to say, you're a brave person to come in here without asking for a demolition permit. Only in Cape May, where we love our architecture so much, do we fight to save a wonderful little cottage front that is buried with all kinds of growth, junk, has not been probably lived in a long, long time. I'd like to give you all the support we possibly can. And I think if maybe as you look at the building, if the right side had a little more yard and you continued that building line down and maybe bulked it out a little bit more with a side yard on the other side to get it in. You are putting, what is it, 5 bedrooms inside and wanting to put bedrooms over the garage too. That's a very, very large addition.
Yeah, I disagree with that, what that thought is. There's 5 bedrooms total. And the addition is like 24 by 20 or something, and how would I say? And I'm just saying,
Standing by
at the end of the
itself.
day, the house is like 21 or 2,200 square feet. It's not a big house. It's not, it's just the cottage is so small and it's hard to make it work. That's all. So.
I would be very much inclined to help in any way that we possibly can to save it. Because if somebody like you doesn't come along, the neighbors are going to be talking about the animals living in there, demanding it be torn down. Might be animals in it already.
It's in pretty bad shape as it already is. And I've seen pictures of it. It was actually in worse shape than what it is now. So.
Well, I'm more friend than enemy.
Right.
And I would definitely agree with that. You are more friend than enemy. But I agree with pretty much everything that was said here. Looking at our standards, I appreciate that you are looking at moving this, rehabbing this. There might be another better way to redesign this a little bit further back, maybe, and not have it as large, and the wings coming out on the side. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the house is 16 feet wide. I mean, I don't think I can really do anything to make this work for the kind of money that's being put in. So, and that's more the situation is like, and if pretty much the street floods, that area is in bad shape, it has to come up.
Has to be raised. Absolutely.
If I'm going to raise it up and move it, it should, like if you're going to do all that, you should take it off the property line, all that stuff. There's already issues. And if I'm going to do that project, it's going to be moved to the middle, and I'm not even moving to the middle. I'm moving it so it makes zoning.
Conforming.
And then have very little, I can't even put the garage over too much to the right because I only have so much land. So, so there's a lot of things that affect this.
Definitely are a lot of nuances to this,
Yeah.
to the site and to the cottage itself.
So that?
There are definitely nuances, based on the site where the.
Yeah, and I was really
house is
trying to make it
located.
so it still looked like it had the cottage still in the front.
Right.
So it still looked historical, had fair distinction. That's why it sticks out from the side of the building. I was trying to follow as much as I could, and that's why I had so many meetings. So
Yeah.
trying to make this work. But at the end of the day, if you're going to spend all that money and rehab this property and it not be worth the value of the rehab portion, it's not really. doesn't
I
make sense.
I don't think there's any step that you have taken in moving it, doing what you're going to do to it, that that we would object to. It's unfortunate that it starts off so small.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
there are no exceptions to the design standard which say that an addition can be much larger than the original structure.
Well,
Even,
Well, that's what I'm saying. We were talking about square footage, and I stayed within the square footage of the original house, and I didn't double that square foot, that kind of.
it's supposed to be subordinated, it's supposed to be subordinated.
The original structure.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just nothing wrong with what you've done, except that it violates our rules.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's,
Said if you went straight back and connected it to the garage, maybe you had a side hall with the bedrooms coming off the hall, drop the roof maybe a little bit.
yes, if it looked smaller, maybe that would go.
I mean, it
away.
is a really awkward plan on the second floor. You've got 2 bedrooms that you're walking through. Yeah, and I don't think any kids are going to be happy with you walking through.
Yes.
I have kids
No.
through the bedrooms. But again, I agree with everything that was said. Unfortunately for us, that an addition must be subordinate to the main structure, as tiny as it is. But I think we'd all be more amenable to something that went straight back and followed the gable roof.
But then it'd be lower also, right? Correct?
It only has to be a foot lower.
Just.
It doesn't have to be lower, just as long as the ridge
But you have to
doesn't
understand
extend
that-
above.
Exactly, as long as the ridge doesn't extend above the existing ridge, and then the sides of the house could have the divider we talked about with the other applicant.
Yeah, but the ceiling's already low as they are, you lower it another foot, what I'm gonna 6'6" ceilings, I mean, they won't make code.
I mean, I agree with Tom. I love the little house, and I think,
So this was a
wondering
good-
if there's another way to do this. I mean, John, is it possible to put a hyphen and put a
Well, that's.
a whole new structure in the back
So
and use this just as, I don't know, like the master, with living space underneath?
yeah, the evolution of this really came from, there was one, and when I say huge, it's not huge. The addition itself is less than 20 by 24. This is not a big structure. It only appears to be because of what exists. So originally, when they came before us, it was a 20 by 24 that had the ridge running the same direction as the existing ridge, but it overpowered even more the existing house because it was so much wider. And to make that happen, you actually had to change the slope of the roof, which also looked really awkward. So the idea here was, well, how can you minimize the effect of that mass? So by taking off those 2 little back corners and changing the ridge to be perpendicular to the existing ridge, significantly reduced the perceived mass of the house. But I think what you're saying, Judy, is if you could take this and slide it back and have like a little reveal between a hyphen, a little reveal between the existing mass. So almost it's like 2 houses that had a little, here, I'll just do this. House, addition, piece in between in plan.
It's called a hyphen.
Or reveals.
Mhm.
It would actually, I think, significantly reduce even more the mass of the house relative to what exists. And I also am going to ask all of you guys, if this breezeway and second floor garage wasn't there, and we approach this in that kind of a configuration, would it be more acceptable to you?
Yeah, I mean, include the garage.
Yes,
So
yes.
you don't- It's one continuous space, the back house, so you don't have to have that whole
So
open breezeway.
here's the strategy that the applicant chose to take. They didn't really want to do this in the first phase. They really only wanted to do the addition with some future garage and some connection to the garage. We said, if you're going to propose the full scope of this, probably should do it now, because if you come back and do it later, it's going to be even more challenging. So my question would be, is there anything that would prohibit you from not building the breezeway and just building a separate detached garage? There was some parameter that you were worried about in that regard, and I can't recall what it was.
Because you can't have living space over top of it.
That's
the
why
whole
you can't
thing,
have living
no
space over
bedroom.
top
It's
of
just,
Right, but I mean, you don't have to finish the interior. You could do that later. I mean, if it was one roof line and, right, you could,
oh, you mean, yeah, put it on. and
you
then
could make
finish
it into a you could get the plan approved and just make it into a two-phase project for yourself.
So really what's happening here is the potential new owner is testing whether or not it's viable for her to purchase this home in terms of it being able to accommodate on this site what it is that she needs for her family.
I would say that solution is more appropriate than this, because whatever you decide to do with this cottage-sized house in the front of your plan, the hyphen definitely distinguishes the back house from the front house.
But that's what we're doing. We thought we were doing that with the clapboard and changing from the cedar shake to clapboard and that width of the house, you know.
So that was an interim move that we made together.
Yes.
Because we never considered the hyphen, mainly because all we were trying to do is reduce the mass of the addition.
Yep.
It would, and the other reason is that it would require a significant reconfiguration of the interior programmatic spaces to make them function better. And if the stair would have to be relocated. In fact, the stair probably goes in the hyphen. That would be probably the most appropriate place for it. Right? And it would also then allow for a reconfiguration of a corridor so that you don't
Right.
have these postage stamp bedrooms.
Exactly.
Right?
How do we worry about like the massing again? Would that still only be the width of the building?
Not necessarily. You could, I think you could pull this off, but it would require essentially, so here's the dilemma. We're not your designers. I mean, you have a designer with whom you're working, right? And it really would require a reconfiguration of the program spaces in order for that to work. And as much as I'd love to sit down and sketch that for you, it's not, I can't do that.
With that.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned about like it's all about accommodating her family, like having so many bedrooms, so many.
So that's the question.
And having a garage. I mean, like, so there are some of the things, you know, that affect, you know.
So are five bedrooms mandatory for you?
Yes.
Okay. So what this may be leading you to consider is whether or not this is a property that's appropriate for you to purchase or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned to you, I grew up in Old City, and historic preservation has been kind of in my life, and I think it would be a wonderful little cottage to preserve for us and for future generations. But as it is right now,
Right.
I have trouble seeing how you're going to get there. But I do think that, it's just a point, well, no, that made a good point. And even though I was starting off by looking at just the gross numbers, I'm willing to be closer to being subordinate than overwhelming. Then I could be flexible with that too. But again, I don't really know without seeing a redesign. I know I can't support this.
I know that when we were looking at this in multiple iterations in the review committee, I think we all were initially concerned about the size of the addition vis-a-vis the front. I mean, that just jumped out at you right
Sure.
away, you know. So then the question became one of, well, is there a configuration that would work, you know, that could work in this? I remember one of the things that we had actually talked about was, you know, this has 4 feet of extension on each side. Well, what if you put it all on one side and not the other? And you could theoretically even do like a wraparound porch to connect to it. We have a building up the street here that you know does that effectively, and make it into an L shape, you know, and you know bring the front porch around to connect to that new addition. I think the one thing that one thing we were always trying to consider in the review committee was, you know, any change that you make along that line, do you jeopardize the contributing status? Do you change the front facade so materially that there's no way that somebody's not going to look at that and go, nah, that's not the historic building anymore. So that's why, plus the fact that, you know, we're not the designers, we're not allowed to do that, you know?
I mean, that's
But that was one option.
entirely
around
appropriate
side.
for the review committee, and that's why we're here
Yeah,
tonight.
that's why we do it. That we offer some suggestions, but we don't try to do the designs ourselves.
I agree.
And, you know, I think we didn't even talk about a transition kind of a thing like that because it wasn't suggested to us. It's not our business to suggest back. But that, if you're open to that, I mean, then my answer would be, come back and visit us again and we'll, we can talk
Yeah,
about it.
we're just under somewhat
more
of,
time.
time.
Time
constraint,
crunch is.
with.
So here's another question. I'm just going back to the FAR restraint. If we take 40% of the 5950 square footage of the site, that would leave you with an addition or a total habitable square footage of 2380. And what you're proposing is 2579. So it'd be 200 square feet less than what you're proposing.
I think that was the reason for the garage space.
Well, but if the breezeway goes away, that's probably about 50 of that square feet.
At least.
Yeah.
And now if we take a look at a much more, I would say, efficient way of laying out the spaces, my guess is it's not going to be a really large set of spaces, but 200 square feet to buy back out of this, actually 150 if we get rid of the breezeway, probably is doable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be, it's going to take a good designer to do that. That's all.
I can certainly support the direction that we're talking about here. You have this beautiful little restored cottage right in the front, landscaping around it. Everybody's going to say, what a cute, cute little place. And it's going to take away from, there is something rather large behind it. Maybe with a different appearance, maybe with a different type of siding, not trying to make it blend totally with this little house. It's just a big backyard which has something else in it. And that gives us, we've saved a little bit of the building, the streetscape. And, this is not actually the grandest area of town. You're looking right across the street at the Bank Street parking. This certainly would help an awful lot to do everything we can to save
Well,
this side
of
of
course,
the street.
but still, we have a contributing building.
Judy, to
And we
your
can't
point,
lose that status.
Another way to think about it is instead of this, could be that.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a cross scale,
Yeah.
right?
No, the same direction.
Yep.
Somehow.
Same width.
Give yourself.
Oh, same width?
With the bedrooms off the hallway, so you're not going through.
Correct.
And just the reason for attaching the garage is now your bedroom, which is probably the biggest bedroom, will be attached to the actual structure.
And that hallway would kind of disappear from the street view. If it's just a hallway, the house is what, 16 feet wide? Or
It's like 16.6.
16, man.
16.
Yeah. So, but I mean,
A short hallway.
16 feet wide, and you can sort of imagine Janice's house is probably 16 feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's not doable. It's a matter of, putting a large sum of money to buy it and then a large sum of money into it to make it viable. And then to have not a nice room to go and enjoy your family and that kind of stuff, so have a narrow, 15 feet is very narrow when you start putting walls up and low ceilings, and that's the other issue, we're,
Yeah.
yeah. We
may
agree.
not be. So, we have a few options. It's pretty clear that the votes that I heard people express would not allow a conceptual approval this evening. We could also choose to table this, or would you prefer us to make a motion and vote on it?
If you choose to table it, one of the things that you could do is take some of these comments, maybe have a follow-up meeting with the review committee, or just propose a revised concept at an upcoming meeting. Tabling it will keep you in queue. So,
I think we'll table it for now and think about it, but, and like you said, maybe it's just not the property, so, there's.
Because that's a value judgment you have to make based on your ability to think what other alternatives might be.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
But to keep you in queue is probably better than to boot you out and have you come back.
yeah, I just don't know that I have enough time, like with I have an agreement that runs out of time and I don't have time to come back. So that's kind of thing. I would have to ask for more time and then also spend a lot more money to be unknown. And I feel like if the property can only be 16 feet wide or less, then that makes it hard for me to make it work. Because I had a hard time with the stairwell, everything else like that at 16 foot wide, making it comfortable rooms, you know, so, and that's the whole thing. So when you start adding stairways and hallways and stuff, 16 feet is pretty narrow. And if you had, don't get me wrong, I worked in West Philly my whole life and restoring houses, and most of the houses were only 18 or 20 feet. But, you know, when I know a father, I used to call them Father, Son, Holy Ghost houses, you know, it was your living room, your dining room, your kitchen, you know what I mean? And then you went up the steps and you had a hallway and your bedrooms. I did 100 of them easy, so that I restored. So I know what's there, and I know what the factor is of a 16-foot house.
I mean, if you're not married to the idea of being in Cape May City, I live up county, and it's lovely up there. I mean, Goshen's lovely. There's plenty of other places to look for houses. I'm 5 miles from the beach. I just drive out. I qualify to be here because of my qualifications on this commission.
Are you saying there are plenty of places in the county without an HPC?
Yes, that too. That too.
No, we love the character of the town and all that stuff. I'm working in West Cape May all the time. I'm restoring historic houses all the time. I'm all good with that, and I like that you keep the town this way, and I like that there's a committee like this. I just, you know, I had some conceptuals that, to be perfectly honest, this had a personal thing to me. It was my uncle's, I guess my uncle's one. My grandfather and my uncle, some of the closest friends were the Waltons, and they lived in this house. So I have a tie from back to this house of, the one was a caretaker of the church that was down the street, so it's not the same and all this stuff. So I know the history and all that stuff, and that's why I know about the house, and that's why I came here, and that's why Christine would sell it to me. So that was the whole thing. She was trying to restore it. So, and I was trying to make it so it was doable. That's all.
I think all of us would say we would rather not lose this house that, you know, is seriously, obviously needs to have some serious rehabbing to it. So I guess what I would say is, you know, given the option that was, you know, brought out today with the two building concept, I think I would say, you know, come back to us and maybe you can get some.
But the building's still really narrow. I mean, I can't make it wider
well,
than it is. So
I think-
the
I
thing
think
is,
we-
I can't even put a garage. I can't even park a car in it.
Well,
At
again,
16
you
feet,
could,
you can't get a garage.
you can make those determinations, and what we can do is just give you the time and opportunity to do that, which is to say, tabling it allows you to consider coming back or not. I mean, just, that's all we can do tonight, I think.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
No, I understand clearly. But
So Ms. Miller, do you have any comments, questions? No? Okay.
I just don't want to be spinning my wheels. I already spent, you know, much time here involved in this. And if that's not really what you want, that's understandable. If I could do something that if I figure something out to do in 16'6", like I feel like I can't even park a car, you know, a normal garage is 20 foot deep. So, I mean, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? So I'm doing something that doesn't work for you guys.
Before you all wheel yourself away, what would you like us to do? Would you like to table?
You can table it and then we'll see. You know, I always can just not come back.
I'll make a motion to table the application with the applicant agreeing to waive the 45-day decision-making rule.
You understand that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I second the motion.
So moved by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Carroll. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes, I just wanted to comment that my original objection was just based on this original submission. But what we've talked about now, I'm open to, you know, those options for you folks. And there was one other omission that I noticed in the application. There's no rear elevations on the initial one and on the supplements today.
Yeah, we were just asked to do 2 for now.
Yeah, so, you know, we would require them as well.
Yeah, but the real decision is it can't be wider than 16'6".
Well,
I'm
not necessarily.
I
Now,
think you
you're now talking about a hyphen, so you're not talking about a cross gable. You had a cross gable plan. Now you're talking about gable. So I think it would work a little better behind the hyphen.
What you want to do is work up the argument of subordination. If you convince us that the addition is subordinate, and as I say, I don't think that's a measurement of exact square feet. It may be a measure of depth, width, placement to a side. I mean, all those things.
Yeah, I think that the second piece of the hyphen think 24 is probably too much, but 20 probably is doable. Yeah,
2024.
yeah, the other direction. Yeah.
I think that Kevin gave a very good solution too. I think we're going off in an L and having a connecting porch off to the side.
Does that impact?
Yeah.
It's Kevin's piece of design for tonight.
But if it's separate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, and I think the further back you go, the less significant it is. So subordination may mean it's not good if it's way up here, but it's acceptable if it's further back.
Yeah, the house
There,
is already going to be.
there are stringent design parameters, but I think that it's absolutely doable as a design. It's just going to take a really diligent process of design iterative idea generation to figure it out. It's not going to be something you can just throw together. It's going to take a while.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a comfort break.
Oh, okay.
I think we were halfway through a vote, right, Lauren?
Yes, so what we have on the table is a motion by Mr. Testa, seconded by Mr. Carroll, I believe,
Yes.
to table this project. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerand, Mr. Testa,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Where you stack these?
Okay,
Stack it over.
our next applicant, please, Welchman LLC at 1122 Washington Street. Due to proximity, I must recuse myself from this discussion and turn it over to our Vice Chair, Mr. Testa.
All right, the applicant seated, please state your name and your role in the project. Let us have that first.
Fred Xenidis, Managing Member of Welshman LLC and contractor of the project.
Okay, if you would present the application, please.
Proposition is to put driveway to the right of the house. We have approximately 38 feet to the right. The left side of the house where the parking is supposed to be, I can't even fit my truck. Backing out onto Washington is very precarious. The proposition is to have parking come in so there's a way to turn around and go forward out onto Washington. Adding a bluestone patio in the rear of the property and a pool in the rear of the property. The parking would be screened with landscaping as drawn on the drawing.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add before we go around? And
There's proposition of a property line fence also to the right. The left already has a cedar property line fence. To the left of the property, we're working with the new owner of that property to put something between the two homes.
Can I ask what the extent of that fence is? It's,
Is this already?
So there is a photo that we provided of.
I saw the two fences in the photo.
Yep. So the one is a no-climb fence for the pool area.
Right. Mhm.
And then the other is, we custom built. We have a cedar mill right up in Atlantic County that provides us with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that is a, excuse me, that is a cut sheet of what you propose, what you're proposing, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have some comments about that.
Okay.
Right.
Let's start with you.
Okay, so just clarification with the fence, then, you're looking at the non-climbable fence around the pool, and it looks like it might be let me look at the second drawing. Just a couple, a couple of feet around the pool. on all four sides.
Correct.
And then the property line fence, the 6-foot, the location of that is going to go from the front left-hand side corner,
Right-hand side.
right-hand side. Okay, so by where the drive aisle's coming in?
Correct.
Okay, and how far back is that going to go?
We keep calling it the shoulder, to the back shoulder, and across the back of the neighbor's property. So
So past the pavers in the driveway?
correct,
Okay, and then,
to the back shoulder of the property, and then the property really opens up.
yep,
So it'll be an L behind, next to and behind the neighbor. And
so
then-
will it take that angle?
Correct.
Okay, so it'll
And-
go all the way back to that angle?
Yep.
Will it go all the way back to the very back part of the property?
Well, that's all wooded,
Okay,
between us and the Fisga estate.
okay. So it's just going to die and end at that break?
Right.
Okay.
And again,
At the
we're
break.
in
Okay.
conversation. I mean, he's the one not requesting me to do it, but working with me to do that, just because he has smaller grandchildren. So,
So your neighbors requesting you to do?
no, just,
or,
we're
just
trying to be neighborly
right,
about it.
neighborly,
Right,
sure.
even though I'm
Okay.
not going to be the neighbor, I mean, still, I try working with the neighbors.
Right. And just talking about that fence, the one that's around the pool, I don't have a problem with. That's very appropriate for the house. I'm just, concerned with that natural cedar fence along the property line. That's why I wanted to see.
We're open
exactly
for
where-
suggestions. I mean, we custom build it, so I mean, we can,
I think you're gonna get some.
okay. I mean,
Um,
we've done extensive work on the house, and I mean,
Yes, you
to the-
have, and it
to a point-
really does look
Thank you.
beautiful.
To the point that, I mean, my son's CNC'd all the scroll work, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we can do anything with wood.
Now, the work that has been done, and I live right down the street from here, far enough away that I don't have to step down, but the work that has been done is really beautiful.
Thank you.
But that's all the questions that I have right now as far as.
And it is a 16-foot wide house.
So maybe a little too much information. Tom?
Well, you can see it, Judy, on the one,
I'm very familiar.
on the front. You can't tell. Because I'm looking at it as she was talking.
Typical Victorian plan for, it tended to go straight back like this. It looks beautiful.
If you look at in our standards, in the section on fences, you'll notice that everything is vertical. It's
Okay.
not horizontal. Horizontal is much more like farmyards and things like that, and city fences tend to be vertical. And there are, lots of ways it can be done and lots of materials.
Okay. I'll have my sons draw something up and
Sure,
resubmit.
And of course, it should be 4 feet high until the back of the house. And then if you want a 6-foot fence, you are allowed to have that.
To the front of the house?
No.
To the back of the
no,
house?
The back of the house. The back end of the house is then considered your backyard. And if you want privacy and things like that. in your
Back
backyard,
is a 6 foot
so you can go 6 feet. But along the side of the house or into the front yard.
Okay.
Can't go over a 4-foot fence. But you'll see, there's lots of good designs there. And I'm comfortable with everything else I'm seeing.
Okay, the pool, is that going where there's 4 trees right now?
No.
Which is like kind of next to the garage? Or like looking at it from the street?
No. If we're looking at it from the street, there's a split maple. Behind that split maple, there's 2 more pines to the right, more on the property line.
Yeah.
It's closer to the garage.
Okay, so that the pool is not going where they're going?
No.
Okay,
No,
so-
there's no removal of trees.
All right, I would just,
No.
otherwise you'd need.
Because
know to
we
get
were going to
front shade.
advise you needed to see the Shade Tree Commission.
Yeah,
if you're
no,
gonna-
there's,
One additional point regarding the swimming pool is that what kind of lighting will be associated with the swimming pool? And if, we'd like to see a lighting plan and preferably dark sky initiative.
okay,
It's not overflowing to a neighbor's property.
okay. Yeah, so there would be interior pool lights. I'll work with the pool designer
Yeah.
on that.
Thank you.
So the way this works is if we grant final approval to this application as it's submitted, we also can attach conditions to those final approval, and generally those conditions are satisfied by you bringing the final product to our review committee and having them sign off on those conditions, so they've been fulfilled.
Okay, but I just wanted that, the pool is far enough back that it really isn't a problem from the street, in my opinion.
Right, but you're requesting a lighting plan.
Yes, oh, definitely, yeah, but still, I mean, it could affect neighbors.
Ms. Decker?
Yeah, I mean, my concern was with the trees, and you just said you're gonna retain the trees?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the parking does not go anywhere near, it's kind of a bad perception. That tree is probably another 30 feet past where we're proposing the parking. The maple that we see, this, what I call the split maple.
My compliments on the restoration of the house. It looks spectacular. I've had my eye on that house a long time, hoping someone was gonna fall in love with it.
For not letting me see pink outside my windows.
So we often, I have the same concerns with the fence. We often approve fences in this configuration with the lattice on the top, with vertical panels, and they are high fences. They just, they don't have the horizontal look.
Okay.
It's just not a historic look. They do occur sometimes, as you could see in the one application. I don't know how that fence got approved, but we didn't approve it. So yeah, just a different configuration for that fence. Thank you.
Kevin, your say.
Okay, just one quick thing to start with, and that's, if you look at the drawing on, it's the architectural site plan C1.0.
Mhm.
There are two locations on here, according to the two drawings, for the shower. Which one is correct? One is.
One's X'd out. And Mr. Britton corrected me on that, that it's not permitted to be on the accessory building. No. And then it's moved to the rear, and again, that would be behind that landscape screening from parking.
That's the same thing. We would prefer that was.
Vertical instead of, that's easy.
The second item is the mechanical system for the pool is on the back side of the garage.
Correct.
Typically, we like our mechanical system to lattice screen around.
Yeah, so on the one drawing, my son has sketched out, he doesn't have sketched out the lattice around the side.
We're going to require you to do that.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
that would be one of the conditions. Okay, so we've had our say here, and this may be probably a unanimous comment. The horizontal fencing is not period appropriate.
have
for it.
written
You've probably got
already
that,
vertical.
probably got that message already. And there, I mean, there's just lots of ways to achieve privacy with the vertical arrangement, and we're not, the important part is that it not look like something growing out of a split rail fence or some sort of barnyard thing. So there are a number of the things, and we would just ask you to make it an appropriate vertical arrangement. And that will probably wind up being also a condition. Is there anything else that we want to bring up, Kevin?
One more question. This just comes from the review committee, actually. If you look at the last page of the property report, there's a diagonal window that's on the second floor. First of all, actually, this picture shows what poor condition this place was in before they really got going on it. It's cleaned up.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
congratulations to that. But you'll notice there's a octagonal window on the second floor there. And we thought that was the historical window, and that's that we preserved. I'm just not. Do you
That-
have any historical value?
Absolutely not. I still have the window. So my sons document everything, and to the point that I even have a list of the debris that we pulled off the property, all the way down to the cast iron tub that was all the way in the back of the property. I still have that in my garage. It's 1980s.
So we've established that the window is not historic.
And that window was not in our,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
And that window was not in our window schedule.
okay. So that finishes up the window situation for sure. Okay, so I think we're in a situation now where we're presumably gone through all the comments and we're ready to
But
vote
can I
on
just
this.
make one more
sure,
comment?
sure.
And I'm just, kind of logistically, where the pool is and where the fence is in relation to the pool. I think you only have 3 foot all the way around that area, and you have patio to the left-hand side. I'm just, I can't, chairs and things like that, or, I don't know if you're going to be able to put anything in that area. I'm just, there's not enough.
I mean, maybe we extend the fence to the garage.
I'm just
to
thinking to extend
use
the
the
fence to
garage.
the garage. Yeah, we're approving this, and that's what they're going to see when they go out. And I'm just thinking you're not going to have enough room to really do much of anything around that pool outside of put a small chair like this.
So you would say,
I would say extend it to the garage area,
And use the garage as part of the pool.
part of the enclosure. Just a thought. Because you have really some dead space there as far as a patio that you won't use. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. Okay, so can we begin to go here to a vote? This is a final approval application, and I would entertain a motion here for final approval, but that final approval would be also accompanied by various conditions, and the conditions including a lighting plan, a fence appropriate, a period appropriate fence that we've discussed, a vertical arrangement. We want to make sure that your machinery is properly screened with lattice. That lattice ought to be painted painted
wood.
lattice, okay? And I'm not sure I've articulated the fourth condition, the extension of the patio.
The fence.
The fence.
The fence to the
To the garage.
garage.
That's if you want to do it. I'm just making a suggestion.
There's plenty of land there.
There is, and there's patio that won't be able to be used.
So condition or not condition?
It's up to the applicant.
Yeah. I mean,
It's acceptable to you as a
Yeah.
condition?
Okay.
So we'll put that into the final approval.
Plus you're buying less fence.
Okay, so we have those as conditions. Entertain a motion for that, please?
But the vertical, the shower enclosure also would be vertical.
Vertical, I have that written down.
Well,
Yep.
it's been moved on the plan, isn't it?
Okay.
No, the configuration of it, go vertical
Oh,
instead of
yeah, would
horizontal.
be, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
vertical
You
configuration.
said the fence, you just didn't say the shower enclosure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fence
Thank
and
you.
shower enclosure, okay?
Thank you.
And pool screen.
Ready to go? Motion? Motion made, seconded?
I made the motion.
Okay, so Mr. Carroll? Mr. Howard? Okay, first made and seconded. Can we have a roll call vote on that, please?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Hammerand, Mr. Testa.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this point, our chair will resume the chair.
Thank you. Okay.
Good evening.
Mr. Chair, I need to recuse myself for the next applicant.
Okay.
And since it's my anniversary, can I go home or do you have something after the meeting that you happen to have a quorum for?
Did you bring a note?
No, but I got the champagne in the refrigerator.
So, Mr. Carroll, you are excused. Thank you.
And
I haven't seen her all day.
And I'm going to have to inform the chair that based on a relationship with East Lynn Theater Company, I'm going to have to recuse myself also on this application.
I don't know if you have a quorum.
We do.
You do.
We still have 4 of us.
Okay, and I'm going to just step down being on the city council.
City Council, okay. All right. So could we have our next applicant, please?
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yep.
58, how's that?
Wow. Impressive. Okay, our next applicant is Eastland Theater Company, City of Cape May, 717 Franklin Street. Please come join us and introduce yourselves with your name, your address, and your role in the project, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Steve Morris, and I am a board member of the Eastland Theater Company. While I'm an attorney by trade, and that's why I have this nice suit on you before you here this evening, I'm here as a volunteer member of the board and with Ms. Woodcock, who will be doing the lion's share of the presentation. As I understand that she has worked with the board and the review committee for a number of different incarnations before we came before you here this evening. So with that, I'd ask Ms. Woodcock to put any credentials she needs on the record, and I would turn it over from there.
My name is Janice Woodcock. I'm with Woodcock Design, and I am the architect for the Eastland Theater Company. Yes, indeed, we have been working with the city and the theater in concert to come to before you tonight. I did have some slides. The reason I wanted to show slides was that I wanted you to understand how deeply how do I put this? This is such an important building. It's an important history that is going on here. And there are lots of design issues related to putting a new building in Cape May that is what I hope it is visionary, because it's a new building. It's made out of wood, like the church. I'm putting an addition on a very plain building, and yet the whole city and the setting within which it stands is Victorian. So I wanted you to know that in approaching what to do in that circumstance, a very plain building, a wood building, a very old wood building, the idea of what we want to do here is a new technology. It's mass timber. It is wood as well. And I'm skipping the slides because I can see that you all not only study ahead of time. You don't need me to show you the project necessarily, although there were a few ideas in there that I wanted you to know about, and I'm going to verbally present them so that I can be quicker. I just want to read something out of the Interior, Secretary of Interior standards. There is no formula or prescription for designing a new addition that meets these standards. A new addition to an historic building that meets the standards can be any architectural style. It can be traditional, it can be contemporary, or it can be a simplified version of the historic building. However, there must be a balance between the I can't pronounce it, between how different the building is and compatibility in order to maintain historic character and the identity of the building being enlarged. So the crux of the problem here is that I have a 2,600 square foot building with a large volume that has a beautiful interior that we want to use only for theater. And I have a building program that's 4,000 feet. So in trying to fit it on the site, we've done lots of different ways to fit it on the site. We came to the conclusion that the best thing to do was to put it next to the historic building and create the hyphen. New vocabulary word today. I didn't know you had a name for it. This hyphen allows the historic building to be exposed in both major directions without any interruption. And from the front, the silhouette of the building is preserved. And then next to it, the form of the building is intended to continue the rhythm of the street, to create a porch, which that's a precedent in Cape May. Cape May not only has porches at grade, it often has porches above. To present a gable shape to the street, which is consistent with a lot of the gables in the area, and to present a welcoming structure that is not residential. Even though the forms are residential, the idea is that this needs to be a visible entry for the theater so that the theater can succeed. When you walk by the building, you know you're walking by something really special. So those were the criteria that I used to develop the design for this and some of the goals. And again, I have to go back to saying this is a very important project for the city in a really special place. So I welcome your discussion and reaction to the design. There were some things in here that talk about the three scales that you look at a building, and I want to just mention them, and if you want to see the slides, that would be fine. The three scales are the macro scale, where you keep your building and the form of it in appropriate shapes in relation to the church. The second are the materials. So when you're coming in closer, you start to see the materials on a building, and you can see the features of the building that relate it to its context. And in that position for us has been to make our siding cedar. So it goes with the roof of the church, and it goes with the idea of Cape May, and it's not out there, right? It's not ultra modern. And then on the roof, we wanted to do a metal roof. We don't have to do a metal roof, but the idea there is the neighbor to the left, that house has a metal roof at the porch. And we didn't want to copy the historic building, put a cedar roof on it, so that's why the roof is metal. And then going in closer, things like railings and windows and trim are important. And our current design is intentionally plain. And that goes back to the original design problem that we were discussing, or I meant to explain to you, and that is we are in a Victorian city, a little mini city, I should say, and we have a very plain building that we're trying to relate to. And so our reaction to that is to also be plain and to be more in more of this of the church, but special in other ways, not to be overly ornate is our position. So the railings we have are intended to be very plain, but you can see through them. And the layout of the building and the layers are intended to allow someone to go into the building, turn back around, and peer through beautiful landscape. That's the idea. And also be visible as a living room for the street. This street is an up-and-coming street. We were looking at the pictures of this only a few years ago, and we want to be an infill project that continues this upward trend.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. So there are only 4 of us here tonight because of all the recusals. And so Kevin, how about if we start with you, please?
That'd be fine. The standards are very clear that the average person must be able to distinguish an addition from the original building. And I think that you've got a combination of characteristics from the theater building, as well as sort of a more modern appeal to the building. I think we accomplished what we talked about at the committee. I'm actually very much in support of this. I think it works well. Initially, I have to say, my first reaction was, wait a minute, it should look more like the Sturgeon Bank building or something. You know, it's got that Victorian look to it, and it should look like that. And the original proposal was much more glass and different material look to it, and this is sort of a bit of a compromise in between. I'm okay with this. I think this really actually does work well. I thought at one point too that maybe we should look at some sort of brick building pulling off the Franklin Street School, Franklin School. Yeah, I mean, this actually does a really nice job of tying together old and new. And the theater should be forward thinking. So I guess I've come around to that thought process, and I'm okay with it.
Okay, I have a lot of questions, so I hope you're going to be patient with me. We recently approved a temporary structure to the rear of the church. So can you please tell us what happened to that proposal?
Oh, that is
Could you speak up a little? I'm sorry.
That trailer is going in, and the intent of that is to allow the theater to actually support union actors, because the theater as it stands without
No, I understand all that.
Yes.
Is the intention to remove that and replace it with this?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question. We talked about hyphens. I support hyphens. I also think that an addition can be contemporary, so I don't have a problem with that. However, I do feel that when you read about additions, I don't feel that this is subordinate to the church. We don't have a whole streetscape view. I would like to see that with the house next door that you mentioned.
That's in here, but, and so if, I can show you that.
Okay. I'm not seeing enough of this is a key contributing building. I guess another question is, my understanding is that the theater company is a leasee of the city. So the city's going to own this. Is the city going to pay for this? You're going to pay for this addition?
The theater's going to.
Okay, but hypothetically, in 10 years, you could decide to move out of Cape May, and now the city is owning this building, and we have to figure out an adaptive reuse for it that isn't a theater.
I'm really glad you asked that. May I answer that question? I mean, is that a question?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much you've reviewed this with the city, because I worked for the city. I had Lauren's job for 4 years, and we worked a long time to get that parking lot, which we really needed. So that parking is sort of critical to this area of the city. So I'm wondering about losing the parking. Now you don't have the parking. And the fact that we're now going to own this building, and, you're a leasee. So I kind of have a problem with the whole project, honestly. I was in support of the temporary trailer in the back. I'd like to see how that would work out for a couple years before I take a look at something like this. Do you have a long-term lease with the city? 25-year lease? You do. You have a 25-year lease.
I'm not going to comment on the length of the lease, but I would love it if Chris could.
Yeah, I mean, you understand my concerns, right, Chris?
Absolutely. We do have, I guess I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. We do have some fundamental sort of just structural issues with this that I think we need to flush out. The lease is 25 years, and there is an option for additional 25 years. So it's a pretty long-term lease.
Okay.
Consistent with various other nonprofits that the city has these types of leases with. But, and this is an interesting concept, certainly, but it is on a sort of a concept that was perhaps not envisioned by the lease itself. There was a bump out conceived in that lease, but it's for the rear. So I'm not saying this is like unworkable or something, and I think the city totally envisioned having this type of discussion about what could be, but it is, in my view, I mean, in an area that is clearly excluded from the lease at this point. So we kind of have to deal with that in some way.
Well, not yet. I'm not done with my comments, I'm sorry. But there will be time for public comment.
Well, and I would
Sure.
ask that Susan be recognized as the president of the board. So she
Sure.
would be an applicant.
Okay.
A voice, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on up then. So, I mean, to continue, I don't want to labor that point, but it's just a concern.
I
So the
just want to
design-
say that excuse me, we did work with the city. We worked with the city manager and our council liaison, Deputy Mayor, Maureen McDade, and the parking is not eliminated. It's simply moved to the back where the trailer would be. She has plans showing that where the parking is intact, and we have been working with the city and HPC along with these matters.
Ms. Tischler, I'm not suggesting that you didn't talk to the city or anything like that.
No, but I just wanted to make it clear that it's not that we weren't working.
All right, I've never seen this before, so
Yeah.
you'll have to just bear with me.
So, and if I could just finish my thought after interrupting you.
Go ahead.
Judy, just so I can get out of the way of this, all right?
Yeah.
There are some new concepts in here. I'm not saying they're unworkable, but they do need to be sort of addressed in the context of the lease. That's my comment. With that, I'll leave the expert discussion to the expert.
And I have one more thing to say. It's not a theater, the addition. In other words, if we were to go bankrupt tomorrow or the day after we built it, it benefits the city because it makes even more, the meeting rooms, it's designed to accommodate community activities, not just ours. So I just want, because we've been thinking that we know that we're in partners with the city. We don't want to make something that's exclusive to us.
No, we
Even
want
the
to
theater
support you.
itself
We
is-
definitely want to support you. I
Yeah.
mean, this is
But
a wonderful
I don't want you to
use.
think that we've just decided one day to, put two theaters on one parking lot.
I don't think anybody's suggesting that.
Okay.
It's just everybody at this table is seeing this for the first, including me. I didn't see this before. And that's fine. I'm just pointing out, we're all pointing out, I have to point out the legal consideration of we have to look at this in the
Sure.
context of the lease. Now's not the time to do that, but I'm just previewing that as an issue for further discussion. And I don't want to interrupt the discussion about the design because that should continue.
Okay.
May I ask a question just based on what I remember from the
Sure.
review committee? The concept here is that it's a, well, first of all, that the current trailer is sort of a makeshift, keep things operational so you could do your current season. As I remember,
Correct.
you needed that just for dressing rooms and things like that. The concept here, I think, is a long-term vision for the theater, using the existing building as a theater only. All the administrative functions and reception and everything else comes over into this building. And the intent was that you would not consider building the building until you had raised enough money to at least pay for a major part of it. if
And then
not
there's that.
all of it. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
correct. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll continue. Our standards on page 55 say that height, massing, proportion, and scale should be subordinate to the existing building and streetscape, harmonious with the roof line of the existing building. And then number 7, the original historic building remains the primary focus. If this was a house design, I would think it was great, but it's an addition. So I like the hyphen. The hyphen makes this removable. I would like to see it step back from the church farther than it is, because the steps on this building just completely obliterate the historic look of the church. And this was a long project for the city, this church, and we're happy to have the lease. I think it's a nice design. I would like to see it scaled back a little bit and pushed back so it's not, right in line with the front facade of the church. I would also like to see the color of the siding match the church, I think. Also the size, so it looks like an addition and not like a completely separate building. I think the deck is lovely. Like I said, I think it's a nice design. I just wish it was scaled back a little bit and it was pushed back. So I'm concerned with the scale and the placement more than anything else. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to say that, one of the things that makes Cape May special is that we are a haven for the arts. And I mean, this is a great new addition to our community. The existing church really doesn't look like a theater at all. And the city really allowed a lot of, I guess I could say, like artistic license in what you've done with the interior and the exterior, but it doesn't say theater. Looking at this new building here, I really, quite frankly, don't even think it looks like an addition. I mean, it looks like a separate building. It looks like a community theater, which I think is perfectly appropriate for when someone comes down the street, oh, there's the theater. I mean, it says, this is the theater, come in. I like the fact that you have the red bricks coming right in, because the new bricks on Franklin Street, it ties right in with it. Now, one question too, will there be a marquee on the front? I know it,
There's a tiny one.
okay, is it on the rendering or?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, but anyway, I didn't see it, but I just wondering why you didn't have one. I mean, all in all, as I said, I don't really think it looks like an addition. It looks like a completely separate building with all the airspace around it provided by the hyphen, and I think it's a good plan.
Well, there is an image that I find incredibly convincing. Is this one. And the reason I find it incredibly convincing is almost exactly for the same reason that Mr. Stevenson just said. It does not look like an addition. And the way the Secretary of Interior standards defines additions, as well as our own standards defines additions, has a huge amount of, I'll call it, ambiguous gray territory. leaving it up to interpretation of what is considered compatible and what isn't. Our standards divided up into 3 specific issues. One is site placement, the other is height, massing, proportions, and scale, and the third is architectural characteristics. And I actually find the citing of this, notwithstanding what there may be lease issues, brilliant. And the reason I find it brilliant is because the parking lot that's next door to this theater creates, in essence, a missing tooth in the block. And that missing tooth, given that this whole series of structures, starting really maybe around the corner at the Harriet Tubman Museum, has been referred to often as sort of Museum Row. So much so that it has been completely repaved with brick pavers and upgraded as a very unique streetscape in the city. The idea that we'll call it adjacent structure to the theater is in fact a theater, I think is really quite wonderful in that the opaqueness of the church relative to the transparency of the addition in and of itself is theater. And the idea that that street could now, on many occasions, either theatrical productions or community usage, even if at some point the theater loses its lease or at some point it's used for some sort of community other function, the idea that that street, whatever that public function might be, can be activated by people rather than staticized, I just made up a word, made static by parked metal cars, makes to me all the difference in the world of creating a contiguous street that I think is the intention on Franklin, from at least Lafayette to Washington. The idea that this is not a Disneyland faux Victorian structure, I also find really, really pleasing. That differentiation is where that whole gray area lies. And it's really going to be a matter of discussion as to whether or not the degree to which this differentiation is appropriate or not is going to likely come down to opinion, because that's the amount of ambiguity and gray space that's actually not only permitted, but in some ways for additions encouraged in our standards and, as you read, the Secretary of Interior standards.
John, I'd like to point out that all city-owned properties have to be reviewed by the State Historic Preservation Office, so this will be reviewed also by the state.
Yes. So there are a number of ways that I think this site can be handled that might mitigate some of the concerns that I can see already being raised in where do we fall in that gray area of ambiguity, closer to compatibility or further away from compatibility. So a couple of things. We've gone through a number of iterations discussing this with the review committee, and you've made significant moves already to reduce its scale. One question I would have is the idea of a deck that has people on it and activated is, to me, wonderful. One of the things that in a way takes away from that for me is the massiveness of the stair. Right? So I'm wondering whether or not some combination of reducing the scale of that stair, as well as, and I know there's some constraints with regard to still needing to provide parking in the back, whether or not this could actually be pushed back just a bit further so there's almost a garden in front, right? So that leads to the question is, programmatically, what's driving the square footage volumetric requirements of this project? And if there is any wiggle room to reduce that, so my question really, that all of that was a preamble to, is how firm are you with regard to the programmatic requirements as presented?
It's not that I'm stubborn. It's that
we have, it's, when you put all of the spaces in there, we have made a lot of effort to compact them as much as possible while still fulfilling multiple demands on this little building, which include making sure that the parking spaces are accessible. So I have that whole hallway through there
Yeah.
from the back to the front. And then I think that the lobby right now is at its, when you look at the proportion of it, for it to be big enough to hold 100 people and file them in, it's getting on the small side. The only thing I can think of would be to try to not have a green room, but we have to have men's and women's for, I'm sorry, for code, it's not building code, it's the union
Right.
that oversees the actors. And that's one of the reasons for the addition. I mean, like a fundamental reason for the addition.
So I guess
That doesn't mean we're not going to try.
Well, that all makes perfect sense. With maybe one exception, and that is the event space on the second floor.
Mhm.
So is that a required programmatic area in order to maintain your equity viability?
No.
So that is additional space that's not necessarily part of that specific program requirement for equity,
That's true.
right? Okay. However, well, let me ask you as a form of a question instead of making a comment. Why is it there then?
The theater has camps, and they don't have a place to rehearse outside of the theater itself. So it allows simultaneous programming. Secondly, the building has to be useful when the theater is gone. If this is simply a lobby and dressing rooms on one floor, then when the building is given back to the city, it will be just a lobby. So that means that you wouldn't be able to have an event, you wouldn't be able to have a wedding, all of the things that this particular design does accommodate.
That makes sense to me.
Did we see the slides? I'd love to show them, but
Please.
I didn't want to.
I just wanted to add one little comment to one little design element, and it's very minor that I think really helps make this work as looking like a separate building. And it's on the hyphen. It's on the Franklin Street facade where the hanging plants are hanging down. And it looks like it's a trellis or some sort of, like almost like a trellis type thing where it looks like it's a side yard as opposed to part of the structure by having that.
Yeah, and I believe the intention is also for that to be a green roof, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of, it's really pretty.
Yep.
John, I'd
In
like-
many ways, in this case, I've been holding this as an umbilical connection as opposed to a hyphen, even though it is, because it almost disappears.
Yeah.
And the intention, I think, was to make it disappear as much as possible. Is that accurate? The connection, I mean. Yeah.
John, can I make a comment too? I think part of this too is I rather than quizzing them on the use of each individual space, I think the concept of the building, given that the theater really occupies with seating occupies the entire church, in a sense, everything else has to function in this building. And rather than, picking at each individual piece of it, to me, the deck is a place where you can take a donor and have a chance to talk and enjoy the outside. I think the community theater like this is going to depend on donor relations and things like that. And so, I think the more there's space for personal interaction, which frankly the church does not permit, I think is a great thing. And that I kind of like that idea of pushing it back a little bit and maybe narrowing the staircase and creating that garden effect, because there isn't a lot there. I mean, across the street is the big pad for the fire department, and there's not much in front of the school to be talked about. There's a parking lot in front of Sturdy Bank. So this would be the only little green spot in the whole streetscape. I think that's a nice little touch. But I also wouldn't want to do that at the expense of that patio. And I think, this is your welcome center for your guests coming to the theater. It's, the place where you welcome schools and, actors and others. I guess there's a lot in this design, packed into this design, that the more, honestly, that I thought about it, the more I liked it. It really became, a very friendly space, if you will.
Well, actually, Ms. Woodcock made that case, I think, quite well.
Yeah.
That event space, which is really the only, we'll call it non-programmatic required space, really offers a whole other level of flexibility, but that's not our purview to judge.
It's not.
The only reason I'm asking about it is there an opportunity to reduce the square footage in order to give some more breathing room to the street?
Yeah, and
That's the only reason I'm
Yeah.
asking that question.
I would make the case that if you can't push it back a little bit, it's not worth taking it away.
It is on the property line, or at least I think there's close to the back property line as it is.
See, this is even more convincing than
Yeah.
the drawing you showed me, right? Because in the same way that it's an opaque and transparent, it's dark and it's light. This is where the activity is being generated between acts, before, after, and any sort of community gathering that could occur. And I don't know whether that's even allowable in your lease. So the whole lease thing is a whole other discussion. But as an activated space in the city for people to gather as a community space on the street, in the center of town, in a historical place that's a museum district, with that kind of illumination at nighttime, it's like, wow.
I'm thinking about the staircase, which is a major problem for me. I mean, could it narrow towards the top? Could there be 2 staircases instead of 1? I mean, can you show some of the other slides? Because this one is, no, the ones where you had the whole streetscape. Okay, that one. And then there was another one with the house included next door.
Oh, here we go.
That one. So the proportions of the stairs on that, are they actually accurate to the church's stairs or not?
Yes,
They are.
yes, we have.
Because it doesn't look as massive there to me as it does individually. There I see, I like this streetscape. I think it looks appropriate. As I said, I mean, I know that the National Trust supports contemporary additions with hyphens like this all the time. It's an interesting idea.
And this is timber frame, correct?
Mass timber.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I think,
So does anybody have any issue with regard to the height of the cross gable?
no.
Okay, good.
The church has a tower.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
it's an
just, the
interesting
only
transition.
only sticky thing I had was the setback and the stairs. But right here, I think as long as the proportions are accurate on there, I think it looks fine.
Yeah, I think that the angle on the gable is complementary to the roof of the church as well.
That's why I'm asking.
Is I just wondered if the neighbors were here. That's a twin house next door, right?
It is.
I know those people really love their house. It would be nice to know what they would, eventually at some point, if they could be included in the discussion.
I know they've been on one of the Christmas tours.
Yeah, they have.
So here's a really, really weird thought. And I'm really hesitant to bring this up. So I'm taking a big leap here. Maybe the issue isn't the stair, maybe it's the configuration of the stair. If that whole deck was thought of more as a kind of, dare I say, public piazza, that the whole width of it stepped down to the street, eliminating the need for a railing, it becomes all one contiguous flowing space that reinforces this phenomenal transparency, which is actually a technical architectural term with regard to the connection between inside and outside. It connects that public space in the street world to the public space in the community world.
John, you're going to lose all that beautiful green trees and everything in
But
the
you
front.
could still do that, right? It's not, I'm not saying that the whole thing is hardscaped. I'm saying that the whole thing is sort of terraced down. With plant,
that's
really make it a garden kind of combination garden piazza / change of grade space, and which could even be made even stronger if, again, it could get pushed back a little bit. Because that's the only thing I can find in
Yeah.
our standards
Yeah.
that is maybe an argument against its current configuration when it says additions should ideally be located in the rear of a building to minimize their impact and reduce visibility from the public right of way. Let me continue. Additions to the side of a building should be located next to the rear and set back a significant distance from the facade. Well, in many ways, reducing visibility from the public right of way is exactly antithetical to the whole programmed idea of this building. However, in order to meet that particular part of our standards, pushing it back and giving it more space between the street and the facade, therefore accentuating the facade of the church being foremost and in front,
Yes.
I would find that even a stronger case for your project.
We have to work on that.
I think first of all, they're changing the entrance to the whole structure, right? That's coming in the new building, not in through the main red doors of the church. When you're putting on a production, are you not coming up to that new building? Or are you going into the church directly?
Never. No, the public comes in the addition.
The addition, right?
Well, unless you have two different things happening, right? You could have an event in the civic space and you could have like a little jazz concert in the church,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
So you might at some point want to have two different, so in my mind, I'm not thinking that church entrance is never used. It's just used less.
I agree with that, but I still think that the primary function of the theater is going to come into the
Correct.
the new building. So to me, unfortunately, now here's where maybe the design standards never envisioned something like this.
Nope.
You need an entrance that is sort of prominent to the public coming up. So I guess that's what, I was about your comment though. Are you saying put like a retaining wall up in the front?
Absolutely not.
So that the garden is level with the plaza?
I'm holding it visually as if that change of elevation, that whole grade change is it's all one big space. It's not confined to a stair. In other words, the easiest way to think of it is that easiest way to think of it is that the whole width of the building is a stair, but that would be it gets, unfortunately, it's not a garden anymore.
John,
Yeah.
John, I just wanted to say, like, you're looking at this rendering here.
Yeah.
And how it looks like it's right on the street. Then when you see this rendering with the trees,
Yeah.
which we have newly planted trees all along Franklin Street, it kind of sets it back without moving anything.
And I
Like
think
with the
setting it
trees
back
in the
even
front?
more.
Yeah, the trees are definitely,
But they're on the one rendering and not on the other.
it's just the massive.
Right.
Straight
Well, I-
stair. And could the stair flare out? If not that would be nicer.
That's up to the designer to
Just
right?
something better for the stairs.
I just wanted to say, I thought that we put the stairs in the way they were so that it looked like a neighborhood entrance and didn't look so much like a theater. I thought that was the intent.
So so I'm actually, that's why I'm really hesitant to say what I'm saying, because it's actually taking the opposite approach.
Exactly. That's why I want to be real clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in many ways, it's why those two images to me are so convincing. It's the contrast between the opaqueness and the transparency, the opaqueness of the church and the transparency of the entrance.
So your suggestion, I just
Theater.
want, makes it distinctive as opposed to melding in.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Except blending in with regard to height, massing, proportion, scale, and materials.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, if you want to get rid of the stair altogether, just move it essentially where the ramp is, up from the side.
Everybody could use the ramp.
Across the front.
That's not gonna work for the public, I don't think.
No.
I mean, I just think you'll come up with something.
Yeah.
And we have handicapped issues.
Let me go through them, going back. We did not.
I mean,
Okay, so layers, color, pattern, vegetation in the front, porches, second level porches, vegetation, gables, So that's what we get. And then here we are stuck, two different ways of doing an addition. One on the left, make it the same, one on the right, make it different. We're in the middle. We're very much in the middle.
I wonder if that was approved by a historic board.
No.
Maybe not, but we did do a workshop.
Did.
We did do it was a museum building somewhere, I forget where it was in
It
Pittsburgh.
was in Oregon, I believe.
And it was this beautiful green addition to a very traditional building, and it really worked.
It
was
did
great.
work.
They didn't have a hyphen, John, remember?
No, it was actually, so yeah, that was a whole different situation.
Yes,
So
but-
I think what I'm also proposing is this is a very unique situation. And I think it deserves an expansion of our thinking because it's such a unique condition in the city and a unique function in the city that how can we not only honor that, pay homage to it, and at the same time meet our standards. So it's going to require us all to be pretty creative in our thinking.
It is exciting to have a contemporary edition with a hyphen, because I think it's something that the National Trust's favors. I think the state favors it too. It'll be interesting to see what the state thinks.
You know, it's really,
Going.
I know, we've done it before on Beach Ave too, where there was a large addition where they used a hyphen and it was approved.
Oh, it looks very set back there.
So I just did want to mention the porch. I think we could work on the terracing idea without having to compromise the program because this building is set back without a doubt. But
okay.
no, if it doesn't look like it in 3D, then maybe we have some work to
Well,
do.
there it certainly looks set
Yeah.
back.
Well,
So it's just the line of the deck is
Yes,
confusing.
and the fact that we have to be the same level as the church because
yeah.
there's no way to put a ramp between them.
So it's just another design parameter, right? And if you find that maybe you need another couple of feet to make whatever work, right?
I just need a couple parking spaces.
Well, yeah. So
Here's the city's parking. Here's the existing site plan. You can see that parking in the back is for the housing authority, and the parking on the left is the public parking. And we just basically put it in the back. We put the public parking in the back, and the accessible parking space is right on the. You can get out of your car and come into the back of the church where the elevator is. So it's very handy.
So there is one question there, though. It appears as if the parking is not within the property lines.
Correct.
So I don't know how that affects the lease agreement or any of those
Even
city
messier.
requirements.
But we did know that it's all public. It's owned, that land is owned by the parking or the housing authority.
Okay, so we're in many ways now, we're moving outside of our area of purview, right?
Okay.
So if I could I ask us to come back to what is our responsibility at the Historic Preservation Commission and entertain some sort of motion regarding this project?
I'd like to finish the slides.
Oh,
mean,
I thought you were done,
you-
I'm sorry.
You worked really hard on this, and they're lovely.
Okay, just the plans. The light color are the green rooms, so you can see how when you put the building on the side, the circulation works so much better than it would be if you were coming from the back.
Loading in functions to go through the back.
They can, yeah, the performers can slip in the back without being seen.
Right.
You know, what about as far as rounding the corners or doing something with the square corners on the front porch?
Possible.
Again, it would give you a little more green and
Mhm.
differentiate a little more from the church.
No, there's no rounds on her plan. Everything is very.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. For like props and things like that, anything you're using on the stage itself, all that comes in through that.
That doesn't really go into the addition, but Mark David is here, and you might want to speak to that.
It does, I mean, all I'm saying is it loads in from the back into one of the two structures.
So actually, Seth would probably be loaded into the front door of the church. It's the only double door to
Ah.
that side.
So it'll still be used.
Oh, yeah.
It will absolutely be used, yeah.
Here we were just talking about where we got the materials from. I summarized that. But you can see that there's a lot of horizontal siding, and so we are having horizontal lined siding.
Yeah, I just was talking about the reveal looked different than the church on your proposal.
Yeah. Well, we ended up saying, why not just do cedar? But the material of the siding, if that were a issue, it would not, we could do siding that matches both neighbors.
And the
Railings are proposed to be metal.
What's that?
The railings.
Oh, the railings, yes. We were trying to differentiate ourselves on that.
Mhm. That's kind of a problem.
I have an idea for you.
Unfortunately,
No, I have an idea for you.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, we are supposed to use the same materials and we do require wood railings.
So this is this one we could do. Here's where I'm hoping we don't go, which is all the trim on the corners of the new building. We want to get rid of it, but the railings, the wood railings without the trim would be, I think, okay. I don't think that after having sat through the earlier presentations, my pickets are too far apart.
Okay.
You think you may want to hold for our chairman to take a peek at this too?
Sean, we're just talking about the railings because with a key building, we really do have to stick with the wood railings.
Yeah. So it's by definition, this is an addition.
it is.
Therefore, you are correct. Although, so that's a tricky thing. The Secretary of Interiors would say even if it wasn't attached to the church, it would be an addition. Right? It says construction of a new structure attached to an existing structure or a secondary structure located adjacent to an existing structure. So no matter how we slice this, it's an addition, which therefore means to meet our standards, they probably do need to be wood.
For materials.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
There they are.
There they are.
Stained wood, it doesn't have
Oh,
to be
sorry.
painted white or anything. I mean, if it's something
Mm.
aesthetic that you want to match your decking or something, that's fine. I've done that before.
Well, we did put a wide top on the railing because
Yeah, that
that's
is nice.
something that was next door. And also it would be nice if you're standing there to
Yes.
put your glass on it.
Yeah, that's always important.
I would love to experiment with reducing the amount of railings needed
Okay.
on the first floor.
Oh.
Right, that's what I meant about this whole kind of, boy, it'd even be kind of, if that whole landscape paved area could actually even extend out into the street as like certain times of the year you close the street and there's a whole event happening in this museum center of the city, right? Like truly a piazza kind of space, an urban gathering space. We don't have one.
Not sure Franklin Street is the place, but it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe
It might not be the
Oxford
place.
Convention Hall would be great.
Well, yeah.
Is this, did we see all of them now?
Yeah, yes.
Very nice, beautiful slides. Thank you very much. Really nice presentation.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's really helpful. So this is the proportion of the steps.
Correct.
That's correct. So they don't look so massive on that one there.
Where's my money shot? The money shot.
Yeah, this, it just looks really large there, but.
So this is also quite wonderful. Right? Yeah. So this is more towards the imagery you were seeking of it being more like a neighborhood porch.
Yes, and I thought it was what you were seeking too, but I could have been mistaken.
Yeah. Well, I think both are viable options.
Okay.
Yeah, remember that, I've never seen it before. These guys have seen it in these.
Right.
So, it was
Right.
kind of a lot. when I
Sure,
first looked
jarring.
at it, But now that I've seen the whole presentation, yeah, there's the wood railings. I like the way the steps, when you graduate up, you have a little platform. That's always nice for people. It's very inviting.
Yes, if you didn't want to do any more work, this would be fine.
And I really like the upstairs space with the deck. I just think that's extremely inviting.
All right, so folks, thank you. It was a really beautiful, beautiful presentation, extremely comprehensive, easy to understand, and visually quite appealing. So, I think that we are charged with making a motion for conceptual approval, regardless of any lease issues. So I would like to move that we grant conceptual approval as presented.
With the changes about the railings, you got
With wooden railings to meet our standards,
But
and
we didn't get any materials or anything.
we didn't, and so conceptual approval doesn't necessarily need to get into that level of detail.
Mhm.
But I think that anything that's,
Materials have to be
yeah,
compatible with the building, with the key contributing building.
so would anybody like to amend the motion that I just made with any specifics, given this discussion we've had?
I would say just something with compatible materials, you know, and obviously, you know, cut sheets and things like that can be presented in the future when finalized slot.
Yeah.
I don't need to get in beyond that today.
Yeah, and that's a requirement of our application anyway, so.
I guess we'd have to, a landscaping plan and things like that, you know, lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, usual.
You want me to make the motion? Okay, I'll make the motion
Okay.
to grant final approval,
Conceptual.
conceptual approval, sorry. And not in the motion, but, you know, just considering some of our comments. If you want to set it back a little more, or, you know, whatever you decide to do with that front space. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. It looks like the stairs are actually in proportion. So, yeah, I'll make the motion for conceptual.
Second?
So moved by Ms. Decker, seconded by Mr. Stevenson. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Ms. Decker?
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. You know, we did it again. We didn't ask for public comments, but there's nobody.
I can promise you that there was really nobody in the public.
There's nobody in the public. So that closes our applications portion of the meeting and general discussion issues. Couple things. First of all, since Janice is unavailable to be with us this evening, Mr. Stevenson, do you have an update on from the awards committee?
Yeah, we kind of did a little debriefing on the event. And also we did receive some additional comments from Kevin regarding it.
Calm down.
One of the things that we suggested was where last year, I mean, this year we had the posters on the wall. And a lot of people really didn't get to see them, and it really talked about the individual properties. So I think it was Lorraine suggested that we would do a video for each property that we would show before the award.
Wow.
So now it gets,
Wow.
yes.
So as, you know, Zach is mentioning the specific categories, they would be able to see the project
That's a
and
great
know that, yes.
And Jake, you and I and Lorraine got those posters so level.
I know, well, that worked.
And they were so level and, you know, the eye just,
But actually, the idea behind those posters was to educate the public when
Yeah.
when the winner took that.
Right.
I did see one hanging in front of their house, and I went to another one that they were modifying. They said, "Oh, it's too big, but I can actually take the house off because it's in front of the house." So that I didn't think about. So there were a couple of things that we can change.
I would say that the posters to me were very well done, and I wouldn't eliminate them. If you want to do a video and explain things, that's one thing. But the posters were really something people came in and looked at and could talk over. The video is kind of there and gone and there and gone. I mean, it's tough to eliminate them because for quite a while, we were by them and looking at them and some people were talking about it. Yeah, it might be that a complimentary short video could do something.
Yeah, I know, and of course, it brings a whole new dimension into it, you know, it's more life. But we also discussed how, unfortunately, at the end of the event, the photo op, you know, we had food for, 100 and some people, and there were only about 14 people back where the food was put out. So, I mean, there was, a lot of food kind of went to waste there. And so I think that next year, we'd just have to do a little more to say, hey, folks, please stick around for the refreshments.
That point is very well made.
Hey, no,
And I think whoever's directing it should be very clear about whether we're all going out for a photo op or coming back in.
And there
or
was more
enjoying-
for us, Jim, right?
And there was confusion, and not everybody, a lot of people decided, well, okay, I did the photo op thing, I'm done.
Yeah.
And it really, it kind of broke things up. I wouldn't say shattered, but it broke things up in an uneasy way at the end.
Yeah.
Which was
I think-
not a good way to end an event
Yeah.
that was as well done as this one was.
But I mean, I guess maybe if we'd given the folks a little more, they could have done the photo op and then came back in.
I think we should stay inside for any photos in the future.
But then we also discussed the venue itself, and we felt that the Chalfont was perfect venue for us. As, you know, like potentially down the line, whether it be the Physic Estate or Congress Hall. And then we also talked about, well, we could maybe have it in Convention Hall, but the problem there is you can't have the liquor associated with the event. So we feel that we should really stay out of a municipal building and go with one of our local historic properties.
Well, the Chalfont, they contributed
The venue, they.
the venue.
True.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did contribute the venue. They were
Yeah.
generous
And the food was great. I mean, it was really a nice venue.
from the food and the sales, yes.
So they contributed the food as well, correct?
No, they did not.
Oh, they did not,
No.
okay. But we paid nothing for the venue.
The venue, we did not.
Right.
They donated that.
And they helped us out, 1,000% getting everything done. Dylan was great. We also talked about how it turned out and discussed potentially making an annual event, possibly alternating between smaller events with stewardship and leadership awards and larger events with the 5 building awards. And I think there's something to that. No, when you wait 3 years, it kind of loses momentum. And if our intent is to get the community involved, it should be more frequent and more out there for folks. Most of the people took their banners home. We're talking about having a database as opposed, and that's going to be, Judy, you're going to make that? Or,
To be determined.
yeah.
I don't have a Outlook compatible computer, nor do I intend to get one.
Nor do I intend to get one.
But I'm learning to operate it better. So yes, I mean, I am keeping track of things. For instance, one of the applicants tonight will need a new property report for the one on Washington Street.
Yep.
That was clearly outdated. So I will add that to the database. So yeah, for the time being, I'm the person
Yeah.
that seems to be in charge of the property report database. And then Janice and I will work on updating the awards database, which will be different. Probably every year, at the end of the year, we'll pull the resolutions out going forward. This awards, we ended in what, 2024? What was the last year we used?
I think it was. Yeah, I think you're,
so.
yeah. Mhm.
Right. So now we'll have.
Didn't
two-
include 25.
No.
No.
So we're gonna need at least 2 years of applications if we wanna try to fill 5 award categories, and we still might not be able to fill 5. We can always come up with, for a while, we're definitely gonna be able to come up with.
Sorry, my mic's not on. We'll be able to come up with stewardship and leadership. We have a backlog, and I think we can go every year with those for a while. But I think we need at least 2 years of applications to make a fulfilling group of nominees for the other 5.
In order to move forward with this too, we also suggested that when someone's coming in with an application for us, let them know if you really want to be considered for future awards, that you're going to have to provide more historical documentation on your building.
Like Curtis did.
Yes.
We'd like to encourage that.
Would actually help us too, would streamline our process.
Well, the idea of having an annual event, even if it was just limited to stewardship and leadership, is just another way to engage the community
Yeah.
and really,
Well, we were in agreement that we could do that every year for a while.
Great.
It would be a smaller event.
Mhm.
You know, it could be a smaller venue, but I think a historic venue is appropriate for our awards,
great.
for sure.
But we'd also, so we'd have a database of all the award winners where people could go on there and look at the properties as well online. Other than that, we just talked about some things like notification of people who were nominees, not necessarily who received an award. And, you know, we've been going back and forth on it, and the chairman came in with a little last minute meeting today to help us
Oh.
get through that. We were kind of like a deadlock. But, you know, not to get into the details, but we have a nicer program to move forward as far as notifying nominees and telling people who, you know, what they're getting.
So, great job, you guys. Anybody else have any comments about the Historic Preservation Awards?
The only,
Anna?
Mm?
Just curious about the size of the venue in general. Given that Chalfont is relatively, well, way smaller than, let's say, the, what is it called? Like Convention Hall. If this event or if this like award ceremony grows population-wise, how would we amend that?
Well, I mean, one thing I didn't bring up was that, you know, we had worried when we were setting up the place whether the seating plan would work. And, you know, we didn't put a lot of people at tables. We had them sitting in chairs, and it really worked well. And if you did look like on both corners of that long room before where the food was served and where you come in, there was additional space where we
Yeah.
could probably fit.
You had about 20% extra room that you
Yes,
could have
so, I
fit
mean,
people
if it
in.
would grow within those kind of numbers, I think it's doable.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to
But
monitor
like,
it,
we
you know.
wouldn't expect that to happen within the next so many years. of
Yeah,
us
right.
doing
Well,
this, so,
hopefully,
yeah.
We're not, I mean, we're not a town of such dynamic growth
Yeah.
that the number of people who are going to come are going to be double what we had. But I mean, if we had some way of knowing in advance how many people were expected, that
Well,
might
we did.
help.
Lorraine
We
had-
did.
yeah,
I-
we know.
there was an
know.
RSVP. I had a rough idea about
That was right on the
150.
money.
People showed up who didn't.
And that was okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put it down. I'm saying it was just.
In your view, what did we learn that would,
And
that we need to
to
pay
Hannah's
attention
point,
to?
it will grow next year because people are going to talk about it.
I agree
Sure,
with
especially
the
after,
the
like,
presentation.
Exit zero.
That's something that we learned. Maybe the letters going out, I think we need to, you know, be, you know, kind of really clear on, you know, hey, we really want to highlight the builders. We really want to highlight the architects, because when I was getting texts back and I said, okay, well, it's only the two of you, you know, are you going to bring your builder? Are you going to bring your architect? Oh, we can do that. Yes, you can. So I think that's the thing that I really enjoyed. I heard comments back from one builder, another person who does a lot of woodworking, you know, hey, I worked on almost every one of those projects. And it was really exciting to see you guys, you know, elevating, like, yeah, this is the reason we do all of this. So I think that we need to really emphasize those parts of, you know, the celebration.
Yeah,
So we
and
could
don't
be- we
forget, this is a standing, Mr. Chairman.
Right.
So we meet
Yeah.
monthly, you know.
Good, so so for example, the letter we sent out this year, we could be clearer about, all we said was, and your team. So
Yes.
will you be more explicit about who your team is?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Also, thanks to our fearless team leader, Janice, for her leadership in this, our committee.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just make one comment about the quality of the plaque?
Oh.
It was outstanding. It was, I mean, you designed it, I think, right? So you did the design. It was just, aside from the fact that it really was, you could use it for a bullet shield, it was beautifully done.
Really.
And I would urge us to keep that.
And talking about the plaque, I think when we have applicants coming in here for the HPC, we have 12 of them left. I ordered additional ones knowing that we were going to have future awards. I think we should put one somewhere in this room to let people know, hey, there are plaques, on structures around the city. This application is one that might be worthy of, an award like that.
It's a great symbol and
Mhm.
it just totally.
There's a lot of space in the front hall.
Or right there. I think it needs to be in this room.
Okay.
I-
It's kind of hard to.
I don't know.
Totally.
John's just looking around.
But I mean, there are 2 empty walls in the front, and people go in the tax office all the time.
What's that?
Kind of nice. If we, it would be
Right.
kind of nice if we
On
had
a plaque.
one directly centered under each medallion or something, like, so they don't look temporary.
Okay.
Whatever you do, it'd be a good idea to display them.
That needs to be centered maybe.
Yeah, well, there were cameras there. But take a look at the hallway, because I feel like HBC is sort of, that was my idea, is we were going to sort of slowly take over this hallway.
Up there,
Oh, that's also nice.
up there,
too.
right?
Yeah. So
But
I leave this up to your committee to,
Okay,
yeah. How's that?
we'll get at it.
okay.
John, I think the other thing was that, there were a number of people who were, I guess I'll call them honorable mentions or something. I don't know that there was a second place. Was there? Or what?
Commendations.
Commendations, I don't remember. And the question was, they weren't recognized really at all.
That's what today's meeting was about.
I think that was kind of some of the discussion was, like, I'll use my neighbor, he drove all the way down from Haddonfield thinking that, there was going to be some recognition there, and there wasn't.
We got it together.
That will be,
Amended.
advised.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be addressed.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of plaques, I'm just going to go through a couple other things. So as a subset kind of the city signage, uniform signage work that we're doing, which I'll give you an update on, there's been a proposal to put a plaque, a bronze plaque at the entrance to town that is a historical marker. Well, the more we thought about that, we did some research, by the way. There was one that was planned to be given to us that apparently never was. So went to the Star and Wave archives in Cape May Courthouse Library and found this article on October 13th, 1977. And here was kind of a mock-up of the plaque that was never given to us, but I can't read it. So with some help from the research people, we found another image that actually you can read. And this is from what would have been given to us in October of 1977. The only reason it was a year later is because,
That article's in the case.
oh, it is?
Yeah.
Right, but does it,
I'm sorry, so we're
Here, all that
musing
research-
over a theoretical plaque?
Who has that plaque now?
well, nobody does. It was never given to us. This was just a,
That was a wooden mock-up. It wasn't a bronze.
thing. Our resident plaque designer and maker, she has designed one for us. However, the more we thought about it, we thought, so this text is exactly the text that was on this.
So this would be like the gateway to the historic district plaque?
Well, that was the original thought. And the more we thought about it, so it says, this distinction, Cape May City National Historic Landmark, this distinction is the highest honor in the country. It was bestowed on the city because it contains the largest concentration of late 19th century Victorian frame structures in the United States. That's what the feds wanted to give us. Dedicated May 11, 1976. However, it's maybe a little too much text to read when you're driving 25 miles an hour coming into the city on Lafayette Street. So Lorraine thought, I love this idea, is maybe we create that plaque to hang somewhere where the wooden structure is that supports the bell in the mall.
Yeah.
Right?
This plaque.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people can read it.
Yep.
However, we make it a more abbreviated one that says, "Welcome to Cape May National
National
Historic
Historic
Landmark
Landmark City."
District,
Mhm.
1976." When you first enter the city.
I sent you some images from 2 towns I was in the spring.
Enter the city as in.
Savannah and Brunswick.
109,
which is
as
more
opposed to
like
enter the
Cape
city
May.
as
Yeah, yeah.
I
Broadway.
mean, most
Yeah.
historic districts have signage that says,
Welcome to historic
You are.
Yeah,
entering
National
the
Historic.
District.
So we're going to
On
need,
on all the entrances, all the gateways.
Abandon all hope.
That's what I was thinking the same thing.
Where have I heard that before? Or as John would say, lasciate ogni speranza, voi che entrate da qua.
Abandon all
the
hope.
ninth
Yee.
level. So I think we need city council to vote on this because it's an expense.
Well, what I'll do is if everybody's okay with that, I'd like to get a price on that, and at that point,
Brilliant.
Great.
Everybody good with this? I think we have,
and the Franklin Bronze did such a beautiful job on those. I was going to have
Get
them
my business.
maybe talking
Yeah.
the same coloration, the whole thing.
the same, exactly, I think.
What do you guys think?
I love it. I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Okay.
John, one other thing.
Yeah.
Regarding the signage, I noticed that, like Cape May Elementary just put a new sign up. And then the nature trails, there are signs going into that. And every sign is different, including the new one they put at the one end of the mall.
Funny you should bring
You know?
that up. So we've been working on this since February. So we have a subcommittee of Kevin, myself, Lorraine, and Tom Carroll, who are also a subcommittee of what's called the Uniform City Signage Task Force, which was created by resolution by City Council. So we've had 4 monthly meetings, and here's where we are. We have a draft ordinance now that really identifies what are the signage types that need to be addressed. These are city-owned signs, and I don't need to go through them, but there's like 9 different types. And for those 9 different types, what do these guidelines or standards need to address? Materials, color, content, fonts, placement, sizing, configuration. So that's what the ordinance will say. Our subcommittee is going to need to create guidelines, standards that will be, in essence, an appendix to the standards, design standards, but slightly separate because it's for city signage as opposed, right? So it'll be literally a kind of an attached appendix document. But we're going to, in great detail, define, because the whole idea here is, as indicated by the resolution the city council passed, we're trying to create a cogent context of signage imagery here that matches the image of Cape May and to eliminate as much as possible visual noise, like redundant signage. And so you already see the park mobile signs have changed dramatically.
Yeah.
They're being all over the place. There's one at each end of each block, and there are these little medallions.
They're in order.
Yeah. Great.
Really beautiful.
Fantastic.
So it's something we're going to have to bring forth to all of us once our subcommittee does that work. I can't predict when that's going to be yet, but the idea would be that set of standards, along with the ordinance that's been drafted, will come to council at the same time for approval.
So what is the time, what's the time frame for the ordinance moving ahead? Do you have an idea?
I wish I knew.
The ordinance is dependent on the standard.
Standards.
The ordinance is ready to go, but it needs a standard.
So, John, when we talked last, I really need to have somebody who's going to work with me to look at all of those different areas. Like we were looking at mall signs, we were looking at beach entrance signs. Before I start designing and coming up with like standard signs, like we did with Park Mobile.
So I think that's our subcommittee. So
Okay.
So you, Kevin, Tom, and I will, like
Okay.
we have been doing.
Okay.
I think we have to convene some
Yep,
meetings to do
that's fine.
that.
Yep.
And that's why I can't answer your question, because I don't know how quickly we can do
No,
it.
that's fine. Just trying to get an idea of whether we're talking next week, next month.
It's not next week
The
or
end of
next
the
month.
year,
Yeah.
that kind of.
I would hope by the end of the year.
I would love by the end of the year or sooner.
Yeah, or sooner. Next, a couple more things to go through here. A property report update. Real quick, Judy.
We have to wait for the city budget to find out how much is budgeted in the HPC budget this year for us to do the city-funded property reports. So management told us for this batch, the city would cover it. And then we will start applying again to the state for grants, rolling grants, which is the way we did them in the past. We had a gap. So until we get notification that the budget was finalized, do you have any idea when that will happen?
Yeah. just call Paul and find out how much she allocated for. I don't recall.
So you and I need to get together.
Yeah, so
and
we have a
determine-
general idea per property report cost. We have a finalized list of how many there are, about 150 we need done. Now there's another one. So the sooner the better, but definitely, we're definitely gonna get this RFP out before the end of the year.
Yeah, and
We
that's,
would hope by the fall.
well, we're hoping to do it, we'd like to get the RFP out no later than September, because that's when the consultant that we'd really like to have do this.
Right, so I was hoping we'd be rolling by this month, but Paul just told us, we have to wait to find out how much.
Yeah.
How many we can cover.
So why don't we see if we can have a meeting with Paul before the 4th of July, so we can move this forward and have a proposal done by mid-July.
That would be great.
Yeah, okay, good. So that segues directly into the map amendment, because we want to have those property reports in place.
And those were done. That's what we were discussing today.
Correct, and that's,
All the property reports for the map amendment were completed with the grant.
are we sure?
Yes.
Because remember, there were a couple of errors in there.
I don't think there are any extra ones.
Okay,
We
so-
need to talk to him about that, because I was very unclear about that. My understanding was that the last batch of property reports, there was an attempt in 2018 to make this map amendment. It fell through. Then the HBC chair at the time initiated this grant to fill in all the gaps and make sure we had all the property reports. Most of them are non-contributing, as you all know.
Yeah.
And that was done and it's completed. Those 187 are done. City council approved them. They were integrated into our database of property reports, which is, 1,700 properties, Lauren, something like that. So they've all been integrated already. That's been done.
So you're saying that all the reports necessary to do the map
Yeah.
are done?
We
Paul
think
seems
so.
to think there may be a few outstanding, so we'll
so-
find that out.
Okay.
But this property report project I'm talking about is completely different.
Right.
This is going forward updates that we really need desperately.
Right.
We have some.
Yeah, I mean,
that-
there are some that are included that are so aged,
Yes.
they need to be
So
redone.
this was always a rolling project prior.
It stopped.
Yeah, it sort of stopped for various reasons. The state stopped
The grant.
funding them.
Yep.
They will fund them again, I think, in the future, provided we get the funding through the National Trust down through the state. But that's the way they were always done before. So we want to start that process again, and that would mean the grant cycles start in the fall, and we have a grant writer, so we should be applying every year for that. So whatever ones that don't get covered by the city funding, we should include in a grant proposal in the fall.
Good.
So whatever, we're gonna have to pick out the most outstanding ones that we can cover with the city funding, and whatever city will not agree to cover, we should apply for a grant through our grant writer to the state in the normal, how that is with I forget what the acronym is for the state grants, sort of like a whole website thing.
And I think we said that there's approximately 140 of those that we're looking
No,
for.
we have about 150 now, so
Okay.
I don't know. There may, maybe 50 of them won't get covered. You can write a grant for those 50
Okay.
as a way to start this process again.
Okay. So, in addition to talking about the property reports, I'd like to sit down with you and just do a double cross-check on the map amendment so that we can propose a map amendment and then convene an alignment workshop for strategizing the public meeting that we'll need to have in order to present that to the city before it goes to city
Do
council.
we have a date for our next?
We don't. And that's why I was hoping that we would do that sometime in August. Because the idea, what I'm hoping is, Lorraine, maybe your help here. If we're going to present a map amendment, and you too, by the way, if we're going to present a map amendment in a public meeting like we did last year, it seems like we should probably try and do that no later than the end of September before everybody leaves town.
Probably to be, yeah.
In there to maintain as much transparency as possible. That's why I'm thinking if we have an alignment meeting in August that discusses and strategizes how, just like we did last time. And it actually probably doesn't need to change much from the last one, other than the map itself.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through this many times.
I feel like we've been rehearsing for a while.
I know.
So guys, tell me, maybe we don't need to do that. Talk to me.
We need to have the public meeting, absolutely. I just mean this whole thing with, you know, what's missing with the map and well, we need to work it out with Paul. I think we're 95% there.
Okay. So maybe we don't, so we put together that PowerPoint presentation for the last time we did this a year ago.
I don't think it's gonna change a whole lot.
The only thing that changes, I think, is the map itself.
The map itself.
Yeah.
So maybe we then convene an alignment workshop that focuses specifically on the next thing we want to work on, that is improvements to our standards. And we have that long list of stuff we want to start addressing.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, no, it does, because I think the map situation is going to be really fast. It's just going to be a tune-up, basically. You want to be sure that the properties are all there, matching the map, because that could be a little embarrassing. But
Well,
that'll
it
be.
was.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't want, I mean, you know, being embarrassed once is one thing. Being embarrassed twice is
Johnson,
unforgivable.
Paul can give us an hour.
All right, I'll put that.
And then, you know, let's hammer it out like in the meeting, not we're all gonna leave and then.
But it will involve a property by property ID. In the map, it's done.
I want to go through
piece
every
by
single
piece
one.
by piece.
I want my own eyes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then we're sure about that. And then the tune-up for the presentation, I think, is basically building off what we've done before. Just it's the
Okay.
same stuff.
Well, that actually means that we probably only need one more alignment
To
workshop
cover the standards,
talked about the standards.
which is a big.
Should we do that in July instead of August?
So
Just because then council would have to,
You mean the map?
yeah,
thing.
I do, an alignment meeting, right.
No, the alignment meeting for the standards,
Oh, I'm sorry, for the
Be a
map.
little
for
fast.
the map.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That
Mhm.
what I think we're saying is we probably don't need an alignment meeting.
If we do, it's a real accelerated one.
No,
Or it could be just a very brief conversation.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we don't need to have, so what I'm thinking is then for the standards, if we did, let's get the map thing done and then focus on the standards. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
uh-huh,
Yep.
Means we could probably jump on the standards in late September, early October. That'd be great. Okay. One last thing for me, and that is just a reminder, everybody, that this week is the the New Jersey Historic Preservation Conference, Wednesday and Thursday.
Who's going? I'm going.
I'm going.
I'm selling a house.
Yeah.
I got a contract now with the world. Oh, sorry.
And
I'm just going Thursday.
Getting like, sign up now, it's not too late.
It's not too late.
Yeah, I've been deleting them though.
And we're presenting, Stephen Smolin and myself and one other woman from, what's the other?
Yeah, I saw it online. I
Yeah.
forget
Do
who.
you know if Yogi's going? Is Yogi going?
I don't think so, but he has an injured foot, so I'll ask.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, in any case, guys, I'm done.
Yeah.
Any other?
I do have a point, and it's coming, I think, a little bit too frequently. We saw a couple of illustrations of it tonight. I cannot quickly enough, it may be my failing brain, but quickly enough process things that are given to us at the last minute. The complete, I mean, it's bad enough to go comparisons, you know, here, but when something is completely dumped on and said, look, what we gave you before doesn't count, and now we're here with an entirely new, I feel unintelligent, and I feel that it's an imposition that really shouldn't be allowed. If they're going to come to a meeting, they're going to have to stick to the papers they've already filed, with a minor tweak here and there. I really can't handle a complete substitution of all those documents.
It's not fair.
Hand out an exhibit that replaces the whole application, can you, Chris?
It kind of depends, and I agree with the concern, because it's kind of like everybody reads their packets and tries to come prepared and put some diligence into reviewing it. I think what we have seen that is helpful, though, and I recall at least one architect sort of like, here's the update, and then there's a little cloud over what's different. And sometimes that that aspect of it really helps highlight, like, hey, what's different about this?
If you give me something that's marked, or in a way that I can see what's different, you know, I can deal with that. But to hand me with an entirely new
No, because
submission.
it's antithetical, or however you say it, to what we're trying to do, which is get as close to a final as possible and eliminate as many conditions as we can. And then it's like, here, guess what's different about it? It's a little much.
I feel like I'm not really giving it an intelligent review.
That's how I feel. I'm
What-
completely- I wanna say-
I mean, I'm used to ad libbing.
what are the- what are the-
I've looked at this packet, I picked it up on Friday, I spend the weekend, I drive around, and now I've got a completely different.
What are the dates that they need to have all of their paperwork in by? And if they don't, yeah,
Yeah, it's 10 days prior.
7 days prior. So, and if it's substantial,
That's it.
if,
But that goes to you know, what are they dropping off that's different? And it's just like, oh, it's a brand new packet. It's like, hold on a second.
if it's substantial,
Right.
yeah.
And that is the board's discretion to say, you know what, like, what's different about this? And they say, oh, we'll change this. And they change it. It's like,
That's what I asked.
Well-
Yeah.
Are these actually replacing them? And they said
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Well, yeah, no, not to put this too heavily a burden on Lauren's neck, but I would like us to be just stricter about what comes through before we get it in front of us. If they haven't if they haven't supplied all the stuff they're supposed to supply, and they don't make a deadline, they shouldn't be here. Shouldn't be in front of us. So I would just say more a stricter approach to the application's good. I'm not trying to delay anybody, but if you're, and there's some people, some contractors and some architects, they really make good full presentations, and what they give us is complete when we see it, and that's great. But others, it's just,
I'd rather have a one pager that just simply lists the changes that they've made, the stuff for you to review. Because the thing I worry about is, you know, I try to read every one of those notes, you know, that the architects make, every one. And, you know, now it's been a whole new package. I don't know whether they've changed any of that or they haven't.
and Kevin, some people have actually given us a reconciliation sheet, right? So they've said, you know, here are the 13 things that we were addressing, and they discuss that, and that's helpful.
So that might be the solution, that if somebody wants to submit a supplemental set of documents or document after the 10-day deadline, it must be accompanied by a list of what's different in
Yeah,
this
that's,
document.
that would certainly help.
so we don't have to do a forensic red line of what they submitted. Like, just give us the okay, what is this and what's different about it?
Sound like a reasonable policy? Can we enforce that?
I would call it a reconciliation sheet.
And then, you know, I think, Chris, if someone comes in and we ask, is this a completely new packet? And they say yes, and they haven't submitted that, I think it would be appropriate for you to say, you know, HPC has decided that we can't accept it, you'll have to come back.
Even ahead of that, we can make that the official policy of the board so that applicants know about that in advance. It can be one of those, you know, Miranda rights that Lauren sends out to the applicants of, you know, hey, if you're not going to be here and you don't let us know, you're not going to be heard, that kind of thing.
That cleans it up for you too, right?
At the meeting. It doesn't give us time to look at the packet. It's just not, it's not a good policy. It's not a good practice.
Well, it's personally frustrating. It leads to uninformed decisions.
But we can add that, and I can suggest, Lauren, some language for the email that you sent. You know, like, just like, if you're going to be there or not be there, let us know who it is. She sends out like the standard rules before the meeting. We can add a line for this type of thing. So I'll suggest some language to Lauren.
Thank you.
And then we can have
Great.
that teed up.
Great.
See,
Yeah.
this is why we pay you so much money, right? I know, but that was the joke. All right. Any other questions, comments, or discussions, guys? It's late,
Sure is.
but I don't want to cut anybody off.
The
Yes.
bollards in front of Colliers look great.
Plastic.
Are they
They're now
plastic?
completed.
They're plastic covered. I looked at them.
Get the
today.
hell
I
outta
think
here.
they are.
No, they're metal, aren't they? I didn't go touch them.
I was probably 4 feet away going past today, and I was like, they look like plastic covers?
Don't
But
think
I
so.
could be wrong. I didn't get out. of the car.
Listen,
I
as
think
the,
they're metal.
as the season
Somebody
as the
gets out.
season goes along, I avoid the area completely. So
Somebody should get out.
That's a horrible.
All right, we'll go touch them. You want to go touch them? You want to go touch them?
motion to adjourn, please.
All right. Motion to adjourn.